Good morning. It is 5:59. I am Will Boling. Today is Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville. The Predators legend will have his number 35 hang from the rafters tonight at Bridgestone Arena ahead of Nashville's game against the Dallas Stars. Rinne played his entire 683-game NHL career in Nashville and will become the first player in the history of the Preds organization to have his jersey retired after spending 15 years with the organization. Yesterday, a Major League Baseball spokesperson said the league will begin canceling regular season games soon if the league and the MLBPA can't come to terms on a new collective bargaining agreement by Monday, February 28th. Games will be canceled and salary will not be paid for those games. Opening day is scheduled for March 31st. And according to a New York Post report, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman is expected to leave Fox Sports to become the main analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football with a salary that could rival CBS rival Tony Romo's $17.5 million per year with CBS. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. A very good Thursday morning to you in Nashville, Tennessee, where the show starts in the 5 o'clock hour today by about 30 seconds. Welcome in. Alongside Ramon Foster, Keith Bulluck, I'm Will Boling, Andrew Malone, our producer this morning, where we have got a loaded lineup for you to get you a little bit closer to your weekend. Dane Bradshaw of ESPN at 7 o'clock. Belmont head coach Casey Alexander at 8:45. Coach Dave McGinnis at 9:20. And a little bit of later midweek motivation, but still midweek, with our guy Inky Johnson at the end of the show. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we today?
Doing great.
Morning.
Doing great. I'm up again.
Yes, sir.
Ready to roll.
How you feeling doing this day two? I know you get up earlier than I do, obviously, because I get up at like 9 o'clock every day. But
Yeah, I'm usually up by I'm usually up by like 5:30.
Oh, perfect.
I take the kids to school. But it's raining out there,
Man.
and I know that a lot of y'all can't drive in the rain down here. So just leave a little bit early. I already saw a wreck coming in.
Did you really?
I did. Somebody ran into the median, getting off right here on Demumbrian.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy how you do that.
Wow.
But I don't know.
I saw somebody, speaking of not knowing how, it's always the unlikeliest cars, right? Yeah. Like the smallest vehicle on the road.
Oh, it was small.
You see what I'm saying? Or just the silliest just driving, period. Like this, I'm driving. I was in the HOV lane, okay? But I was at a very reasonable pace. This car just comes behind me and just pressing me. I'm like, I got to get over. Get over. Guess what he do like 30 feet later? He gets over too. I'm like, you pressing me just to get over in the rain?
So you move to let him go over in the left, and he gets behind you.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why would you press me when, honestly, you speeding already? There's the lane right there. Just take off.
He wanted to go at your pace. He wants you to get the ticket.
Want me to be the rabbit. Yeah. I didn't really understand what the rabbit car was until like I started road tripping to college.
Oh, okay.
I like the term, you know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, and I was riding with some family back to the crib. It's like, yeah, this dude want me to be the rabbit. I'm like, what's the rabbit?
The pace car.
Pace setter, yeah.
that's right.
You saw some rabbits this weekend. What? No, you didn't go this weekend. You was talking about your guy, Smoke.
Yeah, Smoke.
Did you ride in a NASCAR?
I never rode in a NASCAR. I'm not going to sell it like Bernard Pollard. I mean, he either loves it or he's selling it. I mean, I think at this point he loves it. But then again, let me stop. But BP is really into it. I ain't seen him in a minute, but definitely next time I see him, I'm going to run down on him and get some of that NASCAR knowledge.
Have you seen this? Have you seen the simulator?
I have.
I think he's got, it moves with him, right? The hydraulic.
Oh. Hey, you know what? That's one thing I will say. In transition, when you're an athlete or something, you have a lot of things, that you can try and you could do. So, NASCAR wasn't mine, but I snowboard, you know what I'm saying? I do some other things.
I've seen a lot of guys snowboard later. Will, you ever snowboard?
I never have. I got on a skateboard for about 30 seconds once as a kid and said, nope.
That's
my brain doesn't work this way.
But skateboarding led me to snowboarding because here we go back to the Little League.
Come on now.
All right.
But the kids that I would on my Little League team, like Frankie Graziosa, he was like a snowboard. He had like the Tony Hawk haircut, you know what I mean? So after Little League games, we would walk back to his house, and they had like this launch ramp. You know what I mean? I wasn't doing too much launching, but I was skating with him, you know what I'm saying? So when I retired, I was like, man, I'm going to try this. And look, my oldest daughter snowboards. She's pretty nice. And, I like to do it. It's fun.
That's interesting hearing him talk about his New York friends and stuff. I'm like, the last names, Graziano.
For sure.
Who's the lady
Mike
name?
Mariko.
Mike Mariko.
They didn't have those in Ripley, Tennessee.
No, there was none of that in Ripley, Tennessee, man. We had Smiths, the Johnsons.
We got some of those,
the
too.
Taylors.
We got some of those, too.
You come down here.
We got Benoits, but see, they're Haitian. They're black Frenchmen.
Black
Haitian.
Frenchmen, for real.
I mean, obviously Haiti was taken over by France. We won't get into history.
Well, it's crazy to me. I always thought of like Puerto Ricans, it's been fair skin, like me, like light skin or something. One of my former teammates, you probably know, Willie Colon.
Yeah.
He black Puerto Rican.
So Willie's from the Bronx, right?
From the Bronx,
right?
Yeah.
So growing up in New York, you'll have Puerto Ricans and Dominicans like with a darker complexion than me, and what would trip me out is like, how's he know Spanish so well? like probably maybe even darker than me. But like, how do you know Spanish so well?
Yeah.
I thought they was black guys, but turned to find out it's a whole nother nationality.
What's wild is Willie Colon. Well, that's his dad's namesake, but there's a famous Hispanic singer also, Willie Colon.
I was going to say that name. I definitely know that name.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's why I love New York.
Yeah,
it's a great place.
Love New York.
God, great place.
I saw a little person wrestling match there.
Man.
It was Willie Colon setting it up, though.
Hey, I'm sure Willie. Look, you go to New York.
Will.
Hey, if you want to see something interesting and you have friends with access, go to the box, and I'll just leave it at that.
You want to know what New York humbled me very much one time as we get into the combine, because we're talking about the combine some today too. And I'm sure Keith can understand this too. When you get into the league, you finally start getting some checks, and man, I'm feeling myself like, yeah, let's go to New York. Go to New York with Willie. And it was like his little birthday bash and stuff. He, had little people wrestling. Willie, New Yorkers, when you go like to New York, like if you from there and Willie's you're from there, like where to go, Meatpacking District, all these different areas and stuff like that. And we went to the little person wrestling match. And I just walk outside. I'm pretty sure to call now my wife. Call her for a second. And I'm sitting out there and I'm feeling good about myself because we kicking it like we in a big city and stuff. Here I am. Welcome to the new life, Moan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get off the phone. I see a kid walk down the steps. He goes into a fence. And behind this fence is a Rolls Royce Phantom.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I don't know if he was a kid or not. He looked like Will. I'll be completely honest with just super young looking. And he hops in his Rolls.
Wish it was me.
I know. He hops in his Rolls. And at that point, though, fellas, I was like, that car has cost more money than what I have in my account.
Yeah.
I'm having a grand time here in New York.
Yeah.
But he just hopped in a Rolls, and I don't know what he do, but I need to be more humble about my approach on life now.
And you and Jason Martin have been friends ever since.
As he always talks about my money.
Yeah, you know what?
Brentwood.
Hey, you never know. He could have just been joyriding.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean? He just hocked it real quick, joyriding, pulled up to the club. Let me go turn it. You never know.
But it humbled me to a point. I was like, all right, Mom, keep grinding. I'm gonna be real. That was a point to me. I was like, keep grinding.
That's what I say when I see like a nice Honda or something.
A nice Honda.
We are not the same.
We are not the same.
615-737-1045 the number. Cousin Danny of the Borough chiming in on YouTube this morning saying it is 6:07 and Willie from the Bronx is setting up little people wrestling matches. I need more coffee.
What's crazy?
We are coming in hot
somebody
today.
here
Willie from the Bronx.
It could be like a character on the show. Like,
he's a character.
we need Rhett Bryan to call in a New York accent and be like, "Hey, it's Willie from the Bronx."
Willie from the Bronx.
I'm walking in.
Yo.
Go Yankees! When's opening day?
Yeah.
Like,
Bing bong.
What's crazy? He is so New York, though, man. I know people be like the South is, but he is so New York. He had a Dodge 2500, a diesel. Willie doesn't know how to drive. The most terrifying.
Well, he's from a borough, the Bronx. He's from the Bronx.
Yeah.
The Bronx is the borough. Well, I'm from a county.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's from a borough. I'm from one of the first counties outside of the borough.
For real?
Yeah. So
his driving skills, though?
they don't need to drive. He probably took the train and the bus.
Man,
Yeah.
living like closer to downtown.
Right.
I think I tell my family like I've become like closer to a New York driver.
For real?
It's like the
You don't
over under of me like honking at someone in a 5-minute drive is like 1.5 per drive. Like, and it's because downtown Nashville, it's not even that like the people that live here don't know how to drive, because I'm like iffy on that. Like it could go either way depending on how many potholes are on the street. But the Uber drivers here are the ones that don't know how to drive because they think they're taxi drivers, but they're not, and they don't know where they're going, and they're texting, looking for Sally on Broadway the whole time, and her and her friends who are going to get in and throw up in the back seat at like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, but they're looking on their phone because Sally can't find them. This is something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, I think, I don't just want to be on Nashville drivers, like, because there's a lot of transient people here.
It
now,
is.
You know, and a lot of them are coming from California, and they definitely really get, and I don't want to put it just on you people from California. You know what I'm saying? But
People.
yeah, you people that
You people.
I've been here like 20 years, so I'm not one of you people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think I make the you people cut, but
Talk your stuff. Talk your stuff, kid.
hey, my point was just drive safe today.
Yeah. Hey.
Perfect.
Giving a good word this morning, man.
And we've got kind of a loaded show today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
We've got Dane Bradshaw coming up in an hour. A guy that played for the coach who has won 6 straight games over Tennessee, who's going to be in the building this weekend in Bruce Pearl. We have got Casey Alexander, a big, like, that's kind of what we've titled the show today on our digital stream, is that like a big basketball weekend starts tonight in Nashville. With Belmont taking on number 21 Murray State. So that's going to be a big one. We're going to hear from Coach Casey Alexander coming up at 8:45. We've got Coach Dave McGinnis at 9:20. Always brings it. And we can get inside his brain about preparing for the combine and what he's looking for from guys next week. And plus, Inky Johnson, 9:50.
Yes, sir.
It is also Pekka Rinne Day. Tonight's the jersey retirement for one of the best Nashville Predators ever. And Keith, I want to get your perspective too on just how much like the city of Nashville changed as a city, but also as a sports city from when you started playing here to the end of your career. Because I was I'm going to age myself again here, starting for the first time at 6'11" today, but I was in 3rd grade when Pekka Rinne started playing for the Nashville Predators. And that dude got me through middle school, high school, college, and then through the first 2 years of my job back in Nashville.
What grade was that? I mean, what year was that?
2005.
Wow.
Fall of 2005. 683 games. So,
Wow.
there's a cool piece from Paul Scarbini of the Tennessean talking about him and just the relationship that they had, because I think those two were pretty close, and just kind of getting to know the guy, Pekka Rinne. Basically won the NHL's version of the Walter Payton Man of the Year. It's early in his last season here in Nashville. So we're going to get into that, kind of talk about this sports city growing up with the organizations, with some of these players. So you'll certainly want to stick around for that. But let's take a look at the headlines. Coming up next, we've got Tom Brady in a movie with some older women, is the way to say it, maybe?
Yeah, interesting.
We've got a big shakeup in the ESPN Monday Night Football booth. I want to get into this topic as well of what it's like to get ready for the combine the week before the combine. So we got 2 dudes sitting here that are not named Will Boling that have done that.
Man, somebody also tweeted me this morning talking about being humbled, Will.
Yeah?
Said, I worked at Ensworth, and you know where that is.
Uh-huh.
For a minute, when I saw the sophomore and the souped up Hellcat, I cried in my focus a little bit.
Bruh.
Hey, I remember
I hate it here.
my junior year at Bruin Academy, Jalen Ramsey came back after he and Florida State. He'd won the national championship at Florida State. He came back to our track practice because he was a really good runner and like jumper too when he was at BA. He still has the state record in long jump.
Does he really?
And he 24 feet 6 inches, I think.
God.
But he came back and he just looked at us. He was like, "Man, I ain't pay for anything I'm wearing right now." We were like, Thanks, Jalen. Great to see you. Wait, that's sorry. Can you somebody find who asked? All right. Anyway, coming up, take a look at the headlines. We'll get the show rolling. How's bragging camp?
Yeah.
We'll try to find out. Coming up next, 104.5 The Zone. Headlines for you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee, where there could be at least one major change in ESPN's Monday Night Football booth. JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Keith Bulluck, alongside myself, Will Boling. Hall of Famer Troy Aikman is expected to leave Fox Sports to become the main analyst for Monday Night Football, according to a report yesterday by the New York Post. And the dude is about to get paid.
Man, he's already paid.
That's true.
Yes, from Fox. Like, and that's not even including football, right? You didn't go there yet.
Yo, I think he should get more than Tony Romo, man. Like,
I think he will.
why you got, man, that's Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
That's, like, I grew up a Cowboys fan just because my brothers were Steelers fans. So
goes deep. I love it.
Yeah, like,
I love that.
Early 80s, late 70s. So it's like I'm the youngest, so I like the Cowboys. And they weren't, Tony Dorsett, Danny White, Roger Staubach. But then when they got I remember the year the Cowboys went 1-16, and the first game they won was on Monday night versus the Redskins. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then they went on their road. But I will be honest, after they won the second Super Bowl, I was good. I was good.
Yeah,
I was fulfilled, and I think I was at the age where, I'm about
got busy.
Yeah, I'm about to do my college thing, and then I liked other teams and players and stuff like that. But definitely Michael Irvin. I used to say Michael Irving's.
Yeah, I did
with
too.
The S.
You want to know what I did as a kid? I was the same way. Here we didn't have a team. It was the Cowboys and 49ers. It's the only teams I was surrounded by for the most part as far as my family goes. I tried to call 411 and get Emmitt Smith's number. I still remember the number she gave me. That was the lady. She had to know we were kids. Of course, she knew we were kids. Me and my brother was like Cowboys fan. He had a Deion poster in his locker. Yeah. I mean, in our room and everything. He had the Deons when he released his shoe and all that. Okay,
You tried to get.
Yeah, I called 411. And the lady was like, listen to the number. I remember it to this. I'll never forget. And we contemplating on calling that number to me and my brother. She said, yeah, here's his number, 555-2222. I'm like,
did y'all call it?
You're like,
no, because it was, of course, back then you had to pay for long distance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And grandmama wasn't going to go for
What's that like?
That's man, I know. He ain't got a clue paying for long distance, man. No,
it's all
at all.
wrapped in now.
Yeah,
right?
it's all wrapped in now. Yeah, the networked in. But yeah, you had to play for, like, if I was calling from, like, basically Memphis to Nashville or Memphis, like, once you switch.
There's a charge.
Yeah, when you switch area codes, there was a charge for it. You had to do 1901 or 1615 to dial it out.
Interesting. That's that's a whole world I just don't
retro.
know.
That's retro.
That's retro. I mean, there was a time also when you had to get on the internet to send texts out. This was like college era.
Wow.
Like did you have a two-way?
I had a two-way. I was in the league by then, so in college for me, they really just got emails in college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I really it could have been there for a while. But I didn't start sending emails till like my junior year in college.
Yeah. But that was Emmitt Smith's number right there. I never called it.
So it's a really big year for sports media going into the Amazon Thursday Night Football deal, which reportedly Al Michaels is, quote unquote, on the 1 yard line of signing. ESPN has made a run at Al Michaels as well for Monday Night Football. So there's a not so distant possibility that you have on Monday Night Football now Al Michaels and Troy Aikman.
Wow.
I need an agent, man. I need an agent because, like, I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm very good. I'm comfortable. My family's good, all that.
Yeah.
But I was humbled this past weekend and when I was in Aspen because the amount of money that was out there was crazy. And really what put it into perspective was when you drive past the airport and you see all these big boy private jets.
Yes, sir.
And like my boy is like, yeah, that one's 20 million, that one's 35. Oh, that one, that's 60. So I'm like, yo, how do I make an extra $20 million? Like, yo, how do you make money where you would like, look, it sounds like I need to get an agent and try and get a gig with ESPN. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you can start like Ramon did with me doing high school football broadcasting.
For real.
Because I'm saying, like, we're good, but if I get that job and work it for 4 years, I might get an extra $20 million if I'm getting $20 million a year.
No, for real. That to me, I've heard. I've
crazy.
I've driven. I know I've not driven. I've flown private a few times too. And one, you go in with a group. You know what I'm saying?
I promise I wouldn't change. I would be the same person.
Yeah, but they say though, Bullock, that private jet life is addictive.
Yeah, that's why I need an extra.
I can confirm. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, who was it? I was talking to somebody I should read one or the other, but they was like, Warren Buffett doesn't do a whole lot. But I was listening to the Pivot with Ryan Clark, and they had Mayweather on. And Mayweather was like, he's got 3 private jets.
Right.
I'm like, number one, that's 3. He got 3 for him. But he said, a guy like Warren Buffett, he's got 500 of them because he owns an airline and he can go when he wants to. It's like of all the money he's ever made in his life, the private jet is the one necessity that he has to have.
Warren Buffett?
Yes.
That's
a
crazy.
private jet.
To be able to come and go, it's like Superman. You could get up and fly whenever you want.
It is.
It's like one of my friends who was like, man, once you play golf with a caddy, you never go back.
What?
Like, man, I'm just trying to
Thank you.
I'm just trying to play a golf course that's more than $20. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm just trying to hit the ball straight, bro.
I'm walking onto a metro course at 4:30 p.m. because I know that they're just going to let me walk on for free. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing.
Yo, Will, I'm paying for that caddy if I'm not going to hit the ball straight every time.
Hey, I'll do whatever it takes.
It's just like in sports, like the coach ain't going to get out there and play for you. He's going to give you the assignment and go do it. The coach ain't tackling nobody.
You need the assignment more than anything.
Yeah. Understood the assignment.
It's little things in life that get you, man. But I was reading up on the Troy thing too, and I had to actually. It was late at night, and I was sitting back, kicking back, and I was like, it said 9 figures. I was like, it's like what, like 70 million. I was like, oh no. That's one more. It's one more zero.
That's
100.
That's like we talking 100.
He's gonna get 20 million a year.
100. HUNDID. $100 million. There's only 100 when you get thousands.
Yeah.
Speak properly.
Yeah, 100. Okay, we got to correct it when we say 100 million.
So it's interesting hearing what Joe Buck has said about the way he and Troy Aikman would kind of get their chemistry as broadcasters. Joe Buck always says, and I'm a big Joe Buck fan. I think he does a really good job.
I ain't got a problem. Some people hate listening to Joe Buck.
I don't either. I don't understand it.
Kind of has the Max Headroom thing going on, but he's good.
Okay. And he was like, the first thing I do with a new color commentator is I will get a drink with them and just sit in the booth and just have like a drink with them.
Yeah.
And every sport or like every guy's personality is different. He's like, John Smoltz for baseball, we're drinking a beer out of a styrofoam cup. If we do, if I do Troy Aikman, we're drinking like Manhattans. Like it was something more.
Love a good.
It was
Manhattan.
like something more
What's in
fancy. I forget what it
Manhattan
was.
bourbon. It's a real good. Hey, Keith,
You had me a
go
bourbon.
get your old fashioned.
That's my thing. I do old fashioned.
Manhattan ain't far from it. Manhattan
right.
ain't far from it. I actually had that in New York.
All right, I'm gonna try Manhattan next time.
Yeah, fitting.
Um,
and I also had a martini in New York too. I had to.
I never had one of those neither.
You hadn't?
No.
Hey, 2?
What?
Hey,
Andrew, can you play that sneeze drop again?
hey, dog.
Check it out.
Martini, a regular martini, like vodka martini. Golly. Go ahead, Will. We keep
No, you're
interrupting
good.
You, dog.
No, it's that. Look, y'all are the experts here. I'm just here to drink my coffee and connect the dots and tell us when to go to commercial. I fully expect also when Coach Mac is on, I think I could just leave the
I
studio.
wonder
Y'all
what
can just talk
Coach Mac
football.
has been up to. It's good we get to holler at Coach Mac.
Coach
That
Mac
man's-
just gonna let you know he get paid a lot of money to review guys. That's what he was talking about on 3HL yesterday.
Should we start our interview with him of like, Coach Mac, you gonna angle for a $200 million deal with Troy Aikman?
Man, what if because Romo got 130, I think.
180.
Wow.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
10 years, 180. I don't know what the CBS salary cap is, but he's taking that's a big cap hit.
I need to get an agent, straight up. Yo, if there's any local agents out there, I'm talented. I'm good behind the mic. Holla at your boy.
That's the stories that get them.
Hey,
615-737-1045.
I got tons of stories.
But to this deal, though, Will.
It's interesting because Troy Aikman created the space for Tony Romo to get paid $180 million. And then Tony Romo kind of took it the next level, and now everyone is trying to recreate what CBS has.
So let me ask you a question. So some people like Tony Romo commentating, and some people feel like he talks too much.
I've got a hot take on this.
And there's another one, too. Some people feel like he's trying to be Nostradamus too quick, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tony.
He doesn't do the predicting plays stuff so much.
So probably
I don't know,
this
Jim.
year.
Here we go, Jim.
No.
He says Jim like 500,000 times in a broadcast,
he's rolled out and he scored. Patrick Mahomes.
No other broadcaster uses their partner's name so much, but literally it's Jim this, Jim that. And yeah, it's
got
weird.
a better Tony Romo than I thought I did.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know where that came from. But Jim.
But a lot of people, the main gripe I've seen from people is they hate how he's trying to overpredict stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, it was cute in the first, season or two, and now it's like, Tony, just...
Yeah, it'll be it's 3-by-1.
Do less, Tony.
So what they're going to do, the middle guy is going to sit up, and the inside guy is going to run the corner, and the outside guy is going to run the post. Oh, they didn't do that.
They didn't. But see, that's the part I hate about the media, too. When they're wrong, they never double back. It's like, man,
It's like
that was
referees.
my bad.
Tony, you didn't
true.
study
It's like
film,
referees.
bro. Just go. Let it go. Let
Yeah,
the play
it's like
develop.
We need to get a drop for Shafe on this show of the Cam Newton. Like, oh, you watch film? I do too. Watch this. Ready?
Yeah, when he dog do.
Yeah,
I've been
it's
in
like
situations
that's
like
how
that.
that's how I'm sure like every former player feels when Tony Romo's like predicting plays. They're like, oh, you watch film too?
Yeah.
Watch this. All
Watch
right, cover
this.
3 here. They're gonna drop the safety net. Like y'all are like going blow for blow just off the.
I've been out there sometimes.
TV.
I'm sure Keith has seen it too. Where you get home on the blitz or get home on the interception, though.
Yeah.
And we'd see the play dialed up for a specific person and be like, guys, here, just. It wouldn't be us that see the whole play develop.
Yeah.
But Ben would walk into the huddle, guys, if you give me just an extra second right here, we're going to be on the sideline next. He would say those things. I'm like, what the world are we about to run?
Yeah.
He's like, just give me time and I got us, okay? Lo and behold, straining, back tight as ever. And we was on the sideline the next play, man. He did that numerous times where you speak about like quarterbacks are different, linebackers are different, to where you see the entire scope of the field.
Yeah.
And just being in that position where it's like you can predict, just give me time, y'all, and we're going to the end zone.
Well, he saw it like a couple plays before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Y'all are to the interior line. You're too busy blocking and all that stuff. So obviously, you can't see. But from a quarterback perspective, it's one of those things like he probably just missed it like last series. And then they give him that call again. And then they might dress it up. So from a linebacker perspective, I would be looking at, oh, man, that's a long foul ball. Yo, tighten up back there because they're going to come back to that. You know what I mean? So then what they do, someone like Big Ben was like, yo, coach, give me that again next series. Give it to him again next series, but dress it up differently so the DB who almost got beat don't know what's coming and bombs over Baghdad. Y'all on the sidelines drinking Gatorade. And I'm cussing that DB out.
Man,
I told you they was going to run it again, man.
Ramon, I know from talking to one of your old quarterbacks at Tennessee in the SEC championship game, that's exactly what happened with Eric Ainge.
Yeah, it was.
He had a look that they liked, that Cutcliffe saw that he liked in the game earlier that they missed that would have been for an easy touchdown. And they went back to it on that last drive, and that was the interception that won LSU the SEC championship game. I'm sorry, I should have given you a trigger warning.
I know, he just
And you know what?
right there.
And like honestly, man, like I don't understand that. Like why it doesn't happen more in the pros because you know I'll sit there and watch a game and I'll be like, oh, they're gonna come back to that. You know what I mean? And then you don't come back to it. You do it in the second quarter. And you need a play in the fourth quarter. Come back to that thing that almost worked.
Right.
That's because, again, we spoke about that yesterday, though. Sometimes the OCs and DCs will just try to be the smartest guy in the room sometimes. And it's not that, you know? And, again, we're talking about the Tony Romo, his predictions in the booth. And it's like sometimes, no, just let the play unfold or just go back to what worked at first, man. It's nothing. And I've also this is the thing, too, about film, too, Keith. I know you appreciate this. If you give up something the week before.
Oh, they're coming to it. I'll
never forget. Sean Ellis, Big Cat with the Jets, man. I gave up a sack one day. VFL, by the way, got to throw that out
Shout
there. I gave up a sack the week before. No, Big Cat got one on me.
Okay.
In the Jets game. We played them in the regular season and the AFC Championship. Big Cat got one on me. He hit me with his signature move. out quick under. And he was so quick. He was a long body dude, just slender, just could beat the gap at any point. He got me in the game one time. I'll never forget. We were actually going to play, I think it was Cleveland the next week. And lo and behold, guess what happened on the other side? They tried me again. I said, you must have watched film, huh? You saw what Ellis did last week, huh? I was like, no, buddy, we got to cut this off right now.
Yeah, and that's called putting out the fire early.
Yeah.
Because, once you get beat by something,
right.
What'd you call? We got the candy bar. That's the candy bar. That's the that's the sweet treat.
That's the sweet treat.
That's that sweet treat you looking for, baby. You look good in the film room.
God.
The thing about Tony is that he kind of ruins some of the big moments after they've happened for me. That's my biggest issue. Like when the Bengals made the field goal to go to the Super Bowl, like Jim Nantz has just said, and it's good. And within a split second, they're going to go to the Super Bowl, Cincinnati. Wow, they've come into Arrowhead.
That's not his call. I don't feel like that's his call.
Buddy, let it breathe for just a minute. Just 5 seconds. That's the biggest thing. Just play-by-play is the thing I've done since I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Bragging camp's going well. And that's a
bragging
it's the
camp.
thing I love the most, in this business. It's what I have the most fun doing. So it's it's the thing that I'm... I watch film over different play-by-play guys, and it's what I've wanted to do since I was 4 years old, literally. So that's the biggest thing for me. Vin Scully has a quote of, my favorite thing about doing this job is just listening to the crowd. Because in that moment, I'm a kid again listening to the radio of the Brooklyn Dodgers when I'm growing up.
Wow.
That's what people tune in for is, being a part of the atmosphere and a part of the moment.
It's true.
They tell you as broadcasters, always phrase things as, welcome to our broadcast booth, not welcome to, my, here's me and this guy. No, you're being welcomed into with the broadcast team.
Right,
so
right.
You feel more a part of it when you've got that ability to just be you're in the crowd. But I feel like Tony gets you so detached from that. He's trying to be so analytical and so he's doing so much. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much.
Well, this is the other part of it, though. It's the reality that what football is. We're talking about guys that's not playing. They played before, and I know their valuation is high because Tony he played for the Cowboys, but Aikman got 3 rings?
Yeah.
3 rings,
right.
Hall of Famer, all the things that line up that says, look, your floor is a whole lot higher than everybody else. And his experience in the game, too, is allowing this to happen. But football is what's producing these salaries for people that's not playing a snap.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I'm hoping with whatever or whoever comes behind them respect the actual game of calling the football games too, to where it doesn't become a sideshow to where somebody feel like they got to be the next Tony Romo
right.
or the biggest predictor of what's going to happen on each play. I'm with you. Just let the play breathe sometimes too,
I think they're going to try to make Drew Brees be the next immediately retired quarterback to be the next big color commentator. I think Sean Payton might be a perfect fit at Fox if Troy Aikman does end up leaving for ESPN.
Bro, y'all didn't I say, why aren't you putting in a plug for the kid?
Keith Bulluck is, sources telling me that Keith Bulluck is on the short list.
Got coworkers that don't even listen to me, man. What's going on?
Well, you said yesterday, people are just tuning in just so they can claim the takes that you're making now.
I'm trying to tell you, look. So the Tom Brady 80 for Brady is going to be about these 4 old ladies. They're going to see Tom Brady sign with the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cross-country trip to watch him sign with the 49ers.
So he's going to take us on the
break.
trek
Yeah.
to watch him get signed. If he troll us that much, man.
Coming up next, how Tom Brady's film could conflict with his upcoming OTAs. JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone. Maybe Tom Brady's going to retire after all. Retire from football and begin his film career. It's been 23 days, now 24, since Tom Brady hung it up. And now he's got a script for 80 for Brady. Will Boling, Keith Bulluck, and Ramon Foster with you. So here's a rundown of the plot of Tom Brady's newest movie. I don't know how this is going to conflict with him being in San Francisco for OTAs, but basically it's going to film this spring. Inspired by a true story, Brady tells of 4 best friends and Patriots fans who take a life-changing trip to the 2017 Super Bowl to see Tom Brady play. Lord. It is starring Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Field, and Lily Tomlin. I don't even know
the
where to
incredible
begin.
shrinking woman.
There you go.
Keith with the birthdays.
All right, coming up next, 615-737-104.
So, I mean, this is the most unlikeliest story I could have ever thought of. Like, this is like Sean Payton getting a movie.
Kevin James.
He got a movie for being suspended. Like, this is like cringe Rudy almost. Is it not? Like,
Man, this is like
Rudy for
not
old
even
women.
interesting, man. Like, this ain't even. I don't even know what to expect to see.
and I don't want to trash it because it could be very inspirational, but I'm looking at it like, Tom, not everything you touch is gold, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
But with he does have some superstar names like Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Field. Like, they're staples in Hollywood for a very long time.
Yeah,
We couldn't get J-Lo?
He's like, see? You see?
We couldn't get his
Shakira?
wife, Giselle.
I guess Tom Brady and A-Rod are close. They didn't want to
This
go
is like,
across
hey,
the
this is like
divorce
Coach Mac's
lines there.
generation.
That's right.
Coach Mac gonna turn in, boy. Ooh, Jane Fonda. Okay.
Coach Mac is the
Jeff Fisher, maybe.
Coach Dave McGinnis is the target demographic of this film. Is what I'm learning.
Hey,
I'm
Tom
sure
Coughlin.
we need to ask Coach Mac about this because I'm sure he's like, oh yeah, Jane Fonda and I go way back. I love old Jane.
He is an LA guy.
Well, I've been coaching this league for a long time. I've been in this league for 35 years, right? You meet a lot of people, and I know Jane Fonda. She's a good friend. She's a great woman.
I just
Exactly what I'll say.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Who's the demographic though? Like who?
Coach
Is this-
Dave McGinnis. It's just him.
That's it.
It's gonna be just him in the theaters by himself.
But all
Mac
of
ain't
New,
going to see that, bro.
No chance.
Crazy.
he'll get a
No
private
chance.
screen.
Mac's not going to see that, bro. He got better things to do with his time. That's what he's gonna tell you, something like that.
I just this movie almost makes no sense. If you can make sense of this movie, please let us know. Tweet us, call us, whatever you want to do. I can't make sense of it.
Ramon, it's like I said, when I said about BP, Bernard Pollard, when you retire,
Yeah.
you have the option to try as many different, and this is Tommy B's first shot at retirement. Air quotes.
Air quotes.
Yeah. I still think he's gonna play.
For the 49ers.
I think so too. This is also he's not starring in the film, he's just in it. Like it's not like it's his production company that's doing it. 199 Productions.
Oh, why not TB12? Everything else is TB12.
That's true.
Stick with the branding. Oh, it's his film
This
production.
is film
company.
production.
Yeah.
But that goes the other side though of okay, so even if he's not in it for a long time, cool.
Yeah.
But he's funding it. It seems like a money pit to me.
So now him and Peyton both have production companies.
yeah, Peyton's is Omaha.
He's got Omaha Productions, and Brady's is named after being pick 199 in the draft.
But we
199
know
Productions.
Peyton has shown that
Exactly.
he has personality. He's funny. Like, I would watch a Peyton Manning movie.
Me
'cause
too.
Yeah,
Me
he's
too.
funny.
I would.
And he's going to bring in Archie. And then I played with Eli. That's
Yeah, in New York.
I was like,
Oh,
yo,
yeah.
Eli, I asked him, that was the first thing I said to him. I'm like, yo, Eli, what's up with some double stuffed cookies, some double stuffed Oreos? Because that's what they had, the tennis commercial. I used to call him Elijah.
You did. That's
Yeah, I mean,
exactly
look,
what
man, I was
yeah.
11-year vet coming on the Giants on my last leg, literally. Like, I was just here. I was just a guy at that point. So
just a
I'm
Guys being dudes.
yeah,
What's better
it's
than
like, yo, what's up with them double stuff?
he
That's about everybody want to hook up when they know you got it.
Exactly.
Peyton's he's probably driving a Hellcat then too. Peyton's ESPY speech
Yeah.
is still like I watch that on YouTube like
somebody
once a year.
curating the game.
It's still the best. Like when he
Curating the
looks
game.
at Kevin Durant and is like oh, the U.S. women's gymnastics team is here. And they did so good at the Olympics that I hear Kevin Durant wants to play for them next year. And it just cuts to Kevin Durant just glaring at the camera.
He's like,
and then his mom is sitting next to him laughing, and Kevin Durant's just like,
Yo, so I will tell a pretty cool Peyton Manning story.
yeah.
When I retired, and I know he's done this for like a bunch of players. When I retired, I got a Peyton Manning letter.
Yeah.
Like, Peyton Manning used to write letters to former players that he played with, and I got a letter from Peyton Manning. It was pretty cool. Too bad I don't know where it is now.
I was gonna say that's
it's like buried in my like office somewhere. You know what I mean? But I definitely didn't throw it away. I just can't go pinpoint it.
You know what I did recently? This past spring, this past summer, I got rid of a bunch of old stuff. I had trophies.
I don't have
high
any
school.
trophies, no.
From high school, I had our AAU championship trophy that we were supposed to go to Disney in the summertime with.
Yeah.
Had all of that. Had all of my middle school like plaques, high school most improved MVP stuff. Only trophy I pretty much kept was my Mr. Football.
yeah.
I got because I was looking. I was like,
Ripley High School
That's pretty
stand up.
cool.
yeah. I was just like, generationally, who's gonna hoard this after I'm, you know, done here?
I had I'm sure you had medals and stuff too, like from running. But like I had like a bunch of trophies. I played a lot of AAU basketball.
Yeah.
We won these tournaments and stuff. And like 11th grade, I just threw them all away.
Straight up.
Yeah, like maybe it was 12th grade. I know I didn't take them with me to college.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
what I'm going to do with all these trophies? You know what I mean? It's the trophy with the guy shooting the basketball like this, or the one where he's dribbling with the one hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm going to do with all these?
I have like 3 that I've kept. My state championship ring, that's a little different though.
Yeah, that's
For sure.
But my state championship medal, like I got a bronze medal for getting 3rd at state when I was a senior, and then I got like a Middle Tennessee Runner of the Year plaque.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that's
I would
the
keep
one.
that.
That's the one that I've kept. Like that. There's like a couple of things I moved like from my parents' place. Like when I moved out
Right.
and like moved to my own apartment, and
Those
it's
are
like
accomplishments for you. Like,
Yeah.
you remember them? They stick out. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. You should.
I got that, and then I had a signed Pat Summitt poster that said like "To Will," like best wishes, like, and then she signed it when I was like really little.
All right.
That's dope.
What I took from my parents' place. All right, coming up, we got a VFL. One of your boys, Ramon, is going to join us. ESPN's Dane Bradshaw. He was giving the Zone a lot of love the other day, giving Ron Slay a lot of love on the Tennessee-Missouri broadcast. But he also played for the man who's coming to Thompson Bowling Arena this weekend. We'll talk some Tennessee-Auburn, talk some SEC hoops coming up next. 1 hour down, 3 more to go. It's flying by. Fastest 4 hours in radio. We'll talk with Dane Bradshaw coming up next on 104.5 The Zone. It is 7:01. Good morning. I'm Will Boling. Today is Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville. The Predators legend will have his number 35 hang from the rafters tonight at Bridgestone Arena ahead of Nashville's game against the Dallas Stars. Rinne played his entire 683-game NHL career in Nashville and will become the first Predator to have his jersey retired after spending 15 years with the organization. Yesterday, a Major League Baseball official said the league will begin canceling regular season games soon if the league and the MLBPA cannot come to terms on a new CBA by Monday, February 28th. Opening day is scheduled for March 31st. And according to a New York Post report, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman is expected to leave Fox Sports to become the main analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football. His deal is expected to be in the neighborhood of Tony Romo's $17.5 million per year with CBS. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Hour number 2 on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We are JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here in Nashville. And we've got a full house for you this morning alongside former Titan Keith Bulluck, Ramon Foster. I'm Will Boling, Andrew Malone, our producer, where the conversation pivots from a little bit of NFL and some NFL broadcasting to a broadcaster who used to wear a Tennessee uniform around the same time that Ramon Foster did. Yeah. In Knoxville, Tennessee, as we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline and say hello to Dane Bradshaw, ESPN analyst and VFL. Dane, good morning. First of all, thank you for the love and the zone publicity with our guy Ron Slay on the Tennessee-Missouri broadcast here today.
You know, it was nothing really strategic or pre-planned. It just naturally came out, and actually it was Tennessee's player on the wrong side of the boom boom room, but I couldn't find any other way to describe what happened. So yeah, you guys have brainwashed me. So glad y'all got some additional exposure and well deserved. Y'all got a great show and great crew. I got to tell you though, I'm an analyst in the wrong sport after hearing that Troy Aikman news. You guys,
hey, I'm trying to become an analyst now, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, well, I want to get into this Tennessee-Missouri game a little bit first before we look ahead to the guy, of course, who coached you at Tennessee, coming back to Knoxville this weekend for Tennessee and Auburn. But Kennedy Chandler was terrific, and I remember Tyler Smith's triple-double in a Tennessee uniform really well, and you about saw Kennedy Chandler mess around and get 1-2 against Missouri the other day in that 80-61 win. Do you feel like that was Kennedy Chandler's best game in a Tennessee uniform?
I think it was in terms of what Coach Barnes wants to see him do. Attack the rim under control. Take care of the basketball. He's been too loose with the ball at times. He can turn it over. No defensive breakdowns. He didn't have that. I mean, every time you called his name defensively, it was for good reasons, not bad. I thought it was his most complete game. But I think you also have to say, hey, that's one of the bottom teams in the SEC. So he looked good, and he did what he was supposed to do, and he took a step. And so, you know, but we've also seen him play well against Kentucky and others. So can he do even close to that against Auburn will be a key, because, you know, that's one where Auburn's clearly going to have the edge in the front court, where Tennessee, if they're going to win the game, they've got to dominate the back court. And I think they have an opportunity to do that, especially if Chandler keeps playing that way.
And then Keith Bulluck here. I'm not a big SEC basketball guy, but I actually watched the last 3 games that Tennessee has played. The Kentucky, the Arkansas loss, and this one that they just played. And for me, my question is, they played great against Kentucky. Obviously, they lose that Arkansas, but then they come back and beat a team that they're supposed to beat. I got familiar with players. Obviously, Kennedy had a huge game. Mm-hmm. I saw Zakai Ziegler, the first game, he had a big game. I like Victor Bailey's game. How do you see this team, you know, as they finish off SEC play? You know, what are their chances to go deep in the big tournament? You know, that's my question, because that's what I'll pay most attention to. I think that, you know, they play defense. You know what I mean? They have guys that can score and guard, but at times they are a little streaky as a team. If you can give me a little more insight to the team overall, that'd be great.
No, a good assessment there for only watching a few SEC games, man. You're on it. It's
I know basketball. I just, I have to be fair. I don't watch too much UT. I don't even watch Syracuse anymore. We're trash.
Hey, look, they asked me to sub in for a Pepperdine BYU game this Saturday. So you think you're nervous about being unprepared? I'm over here. No, you're right. I mean, Tennessee defense travels, and Tennessee's one of several teams in the SEC that really has a strong defense, and a lot of it's not overly complicated. I mean, LSU's a defense that mixes in some presses and different coverages, but a lot of it is just kind of some old school, get up in you, guard the ball, not really a ton of switching, just man up. And Arkansas did it to Tennessee, and Tennessee, and to their credit, they held Arkansas in that game to under 40%. So Tennessee, you trust their defense. I thought a big positive from that win against Missouri was just that they showed that they could still shoot the ball well, because that's what haunted them in the past, was that Jekyll and Hyde offense. So after you saw them kind of really put up a donut, if you will, offensively on the road against Arkansas, you wondered if, hey, is this our old habits coming back to bite us, or is this an anomaly? And I feel like it was an anomaly. But and when you look at the SEC and Auburn, for example, I talked about their great front court, but they don't shoot the three well. Their guards are good, not great. And so to your point about who do you want to, or who do you think can make a deep run in March, every time that bracket comes out, the top analysts and everybody else will say it comes down to guard play, and that's what they trust. And Tennessee has that. Now, do they have a first team All-SEC or an All-American? No, but collectively, I called them. I think they're the best two-way backcourt in the SEC, because Ziegler, Vescovy, and Chandler can defend their tails off. Chandler can lose his discipline some, but he's going to make up for it with 2 or 3 steals a game that are live ball turnovers going down the other end for dunks. Because Alabama's got an explosive scoring backcourt, but they don't defend. Auburn has a good backcourt, as I mentioned, but do they defend it as well? Are they as consistent with their decision making as Tennessee? I don't think so. So I really do trust Tennessee's backcourt. My question would be, when the shot clock gets going down, do they have a guy that can just really break you down and do a one-on-one type play to get you a tough bucket? That they rely pretty heavily on that motion offense, and so I think they've struggled when teams have been in full denial and taken that away. Because I've said it all year long, Tennessee is at their best when they're getting assists on about 65% of their makes. That's where it's a thing of beauty. It's poetry in motion. It's just pass, cut, sharing the ball. But if you deny that stuff and make them put their head down and try to make a one-on-one play and shoot over you, that's when they get exposed a little bit.
Man, Dane, welcome to the show, man. Glad you're doing well. I think this might
Ramon, what's up, buddy?
Man, I'm just glad that you're killing it and crushing it. I'm hearing you just be you on TV. So to that first point, what do we need to do to get this Troy Aikman money, man?
Yeah. Well, I got unlike you, I've got an uphill battle, man. I'm the least decorated analyst I'm the least decorated analyst you can find. Like, I'm not coming off Pro Bowls and Super Bowls. I'm just
fair.
I don't know that everybody's they're not looking for the former all glue guy captain to run their headline marquee event, but I'm making my way, so it's been good. This as you guys know, experience helps, and I look at broadcasting a little bit kind of like sports, especially when you first get in. Like when you're a freshman, when you get put in the game, you're kind of just playing not to make a mistake. You're just trying not to screw up, and you're like, wait, am I in the right spot? Did I call the right play? And you're kind of playing not to lose a little bit. And then after you get comfortable and you get some feedback and coaching and confidence, you don't lose the fundamentals, but then you kind of just go out there and play and try to be yourself as best you can, and hope, in broadcasting, hopefully people like it.
No doubt, man. And speaking of that, you hit on something I want to ask you about. I was there with Bruce, and everybody know how he was on the outside looking in, but you were coached by Bruce Pearl, man. What has he done at Tennessee and at other places and now at Auburn, to where you see on the other side this matchup with Rick Barnes with the Vols in Knoxville, man? How are those two guys alike or different in your mindset when you were directly, brought under with Bruce Pearl?
Yeah, well, the similarities are that they're both big-time competitors, film junkies. They study the game, that they love it. And, with Bruce, my time with him, I thought one of the most underestimated things, it's probably not underestimated anymore, but, his theatrics and the PR and the marketing and the yelling, screaming, everybody's like, man, what a great motivator and a great marketer. And I'm like, yeah, but you got no idea how good this guy is in the huddle and in practice and in the film room. You guys know you can have a game plan going in, but if a team starts to take away something, does the coach have the ability to adjust on the fly? And he does. And it was awesome for us because he came in my junior year, and there were so many guys that just, had potential, but for whatever reason, we weren't reaching it as individuals or as a team. Right. And then all of a sudden, when the system started working right away and you saw plays not break down but actually work and get you buckets, and really, and I talked to him about this some. I had Auburn at Arkansas earlier this year, and he's running a lot of the same stuff we did, and he'll throw wrinkles. I was like, Coach, after you were out, you had he was out with the show cause, and he was in TV, and he came back to Auburn. He was running that same offense. I was like, I got to admit, I started to wonder, like, hey, I don't know if that offense really works anymore. And he said, look, man, I started second guessing myself too, because it was a slow start at Auburn, and he had to wonder, hey, how much of this is my personnel just doesn't fit yet, or do I need to figure out something brand new and overhaul my entire system? He hasn't had to do that. They had that great run with Jared Harper, Bryce Brown, and that backcourt. But again, this year's team is different. With Bruce Pearl, you typically think of great guard play and elite three-point shooting, and if they're going to get stops, they're going to turn you over. Now, good guard play, better in the front court, don't shoot the three well, get some turnovers, some steals, but it's more traditional stops and blocks with the big man in the back. So that's a credit to him for being able to adjust to his personnel, still keep his foundation and culture, and be able to still have success no matter who's on the roster.
Dane, Coach Pearl is such a personality. Even when he was coaching at you, everywhere he's been a personality, someone that has played for him. How is he able, as a coach with such a big, personality in this day and age, social media and all that stuff, get his players to buy in and trust that what he's teaching as a basketball coach is like real deal?
I say that's a great question. I think a lot of it goes back to sort of his servant leadership strategy. Some coaches, it's hey, the assistant coaches are your friends, and the head coach is kind of removed from that player-coach relationship. And Bruce isn't that way. I mean, you're still cool with your assistants, but you feel like you can walk into the head coach's office at any time, and he makes himself available. He has their backs. And, there's some coaches out there, just like Bruce doesn't like some coaches and some coaches don't like Bruce. But I tell you what, one thing that's consistent I hear from all the coaches out there, whether some people like him or not, they say, man, there's some guys that he'll take on his roster that were extra baggage kids or second chance, third chance type kids that I thought nobody'd ever get that kid to play hard. And, man, that kid will play his butt off for Bruce Pearl. And that's been his niche. Even at Division II Southern Indiana, they were kind of misfits, guys that maybe got kicked off D1 schools and needed a new chance. And he did the same thing at Tennessee at times. And so he just really gets the best out of them. And what's interesting, too, is I had one kid, King McClure, who played at Baylor, he's an analyst. We were at the same tournament together recently. He goes, man, I bet that guy was intense and was a maniac in practice. I was like, he's really not. They're productive practices, but when you see him on the court in game time, he's screaming and yelling, the intensity. It's really not like that. You go see a Tennessee or a Auburn walkthrough. Guys are kind of chilling. I mean, he's all about wanting to keep their legs fresh and be excited to play. And Ramon, you may have seen this some in your day too. I don't know, and I'm ashamed to admit it. But when coaches coach you so hard in practice and wear your legs out, a lot of time guys are more excited about the day off after the game than they are the game itself. And you know what? I'm telling you, it's true. And they might not want to admit it, but that is a place you don't want to go into as a team or as a head coach.
Yep, I've seen that.
Dane Bradshaw with us here on JMart and Ramon. Dane, how much would a Bruce Pearl love to coach as a Kai Ziegler? Because when I think of Bruce Pearl guards and guys that would have fit perfectly at his Tennessee teams and his Auburn teams, Kai Ziegler might be the prototypical Bruce Pearl and Rick Barnes point guard.
Yeah, no, he's terrific, man. And Bruce loves a kid with the chip on his shoulder,
right.
A lot to prove. Ziegler has it's really been fascinating that not only has he elevated his game and become a big part of this team, but he's become the heart and soul of a team that's pretty old, right? Yeah. I mean, this isn't just a bunch of freshmen that come in and, oh, well, somebody's got to lead, so it might as well be me. No, I mean, you got 6-year guys. You got Josiah Jordan-James. You got Vescovy. And Ziegler's like, no, I mean, I'm here. I'm what I am, and I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to set the tone. And he's taken a lot of pressure off of Kennedy Chandler, who I credit Chandler. I have not seen any jealousy whatsoever. Right. I think Chandler's been pretty accepting. Now, behind the scenes, is it different? Could be, but I haven't seen it, and I haven't heard anything that lends to it because, you're the 5-star first-round projected pick, and Ziegler's starting to maybe get more credit at times. But I think he realizes they can both have success together on the court. And Ziegler's just an awesome story for the guys that hadn't read his background. Mike Wilson of the Knoxville News Sentinel wrote a hell of an article, man. Mm-hmm. This kid didn't know where he was going to, sleep each night growing up. He was catching trains. He was hiding in the bathroom on the train when the conductor would come around for tickets because he couldn't afford the ticket. Bryant University offered him a take it or leave it scholarship. And he said, no, I'm going to bet on myself, and he exploded in the final session of the summer and the recruiting period. And Rick Barnes and them, they weren't sold on him right away. They saw him, they're like, man. But Barnes told me, he goes, look, I always tell our guys, especially on big men, let's take a chance on one. Well, always have your roster, but go out there, let's use one of those scholarships and take a chance on a big man that might be a development project. And he said, we kind of reverse. We go, well, you know what? Let's do it with a guard. Let's take a chance with a guard the same way we do a big, and, man, has that paid off.
Dane, man, appreciate your time, but one more to wrap it up, man. You're VFL. I know you appreciate Tennessee and our time that we had there and everything, but we were on the tail end of the smoke, from the national championship. We played in the SEC championship. You guys did really well at basketball. Lady Vols won, I think, 2 championships while we both were there. But right now, Tennessee seems to have found a good coach in football. Basketball has found its way. Lady Vols has found their way. Men's baseball has found its way also, man. Just where are you with the University of Tennessee, if you've been back, or what you're seeing from the outside?
Yeah, I think stability, leadership, with Chancellor Plowman, Randy Boyd. The greatest thing that ever happened at the University of Tennessee was Randy Boyd not winning the governor's race, because now he became president of UT, and I mean, he's been terrific. You've got, of course, Danny White and his background, and of course Josh Heupel with that very successful first year. It all points back to football success. Even when I was there, people were like, are you get jealous of football's attention, this and that? I'm like, no, man. Like, I'm not. Even at 18, I was smart enough to know, like, all these great facilities and the upgrades and all those other things and the travel. I'm like, they're the ones bringing the money in, man. We're all getting all this stuff. Like it's what it is. And when I got recruited there, the knock was, you realize you're going to be the 4th most important sport, right? You've got football, you've got women's basketball, and spring football. That's right. And maybe they'll pay attention to men's basketball. And I was like, I didn't believe it, because even though the fan base wasn't strong around the Buzz Peterson era, it was kind of like, what, there's a big enough fan base here. If you'll build it, they'll come. Mm-hmm. And I think you see that across all the sports. And it's been awesome to see under Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, just the rise of SEC sports altogether. It's been really awesome.
Dane Bradshaw has been our guest here on 104.5 The Zone. Dane, our guy Ron Slay is watching the show right now and said, my guy Dane is in the building, boom, boom room member. So Ron Slay sends his regards.
He's the best, man. Lock the door on him later this afternoon.
Absolutely.
All right, appreciate the time, Dane.
Appreciate it, Dane.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there is Dane Bradshaw, ESPN, SEC Network analyst, VFL. I want to get into a couple of things he said there because there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Background about Bruce Pearl, some info about this Tennessee team. Let's do that on the other side. JMart Ramon, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors here on 104.5 The Zone. JMart Ramon, powered by all four seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Appreciate Dane Bradshaw giving us a couple of minutes. Check out the podcast if you have not, or if you missed that conversation, about 20 minutes with him about Bruce Pearl teams, about what makes them unique in the past and now, and some really good stuff, too, about this Tennessee team. I think Zakai Ziegler is like straight out of the Bobby Mays and Ramar Smith playbook from back in the Bruce Pearl days. Like, you got to remember, too, Ramon, that when I grew up as a Tennessee fan, like I had as many, this is not a shot at you, I had as many good basketball memories as I did football memories.
Oh, I'm with that. I believe that.
Yeah.
But
Which
both sides
honestly
were
is-
really thriving until 08.
Yeah.
Both sides were
Right.
really thriving. Not only that, but also the Lady Vols. Like,
Right.
they were good. Like, we were there with the friggin' Hall of Famer, Candace Parker.
The GOAT.
That's all I know is Lady Vols basketball. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be 100%.
That's real.
And the 1997 UT National Championship team, because they beat us the first game of the season on a phantom pass.
I was going to say, here comes the pass
call.
interference.
Yeah, man, but look, y'all own it. People down here own it.
Yeah, we do.
Like, so
We do.
that's why I really mess with the Tennessee Vols. But yeah, growing up, Heath Schuler.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my favorite University of Tennessee football player is Al Wilson. He was a dog. He was a dog, especially in that game up there. He was a dog.
They don't make them like Al Wilson anymore.
But yeah, and then
It's
I
hard
remember,
to find them.
I remember when Shamika Holslaw won the Natty and gave a shout out to Queensbridge. That was everything.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
you go.
She's like, I want to give a shout out to Queensbridge. So I was like, oh, Shamika hard for that.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. Tennessee basketball has like a crazy connection with the city of, like, with New York City.
Yeah, Allen Houston.
So
Come on, son.
Allen
Allen
Houston,
Houston,
Bernard
yeah.
King,
Bernard
Ernie
King,
Grunfeld,
yeah.
Tobias Harris,
Yeah.
Wait.
and now Zakai Ziegler. This kid.
But I never knew Bernard King.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like every
100%.
Oh, y'all getting more props now.
every guy
Y'all
that.
getting more props
Listen to
now.
this New York side come out.
I should have
every
started
time.
with this before we had Dane on.
yeah.
So Zakai Ziegler, Dane
No,
Bradshaw mentioned
he's from the Bronx.
mentioned
Yeah.
the story. He would one of my good friends, Mike Wilson, wrote that story, and it is a really good article. You got to check that out on
It's
Tennessee
dope,
and the
man.
Knoxville News Sentinel. But the dude would literally, he was going to school, transferred and was going to school in Long Island, but lived in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And so, like, everything they did was to try to, like, make sure he was at AAU tournaments, he was at school, and they changed schools to get this program in order for him to be able to get more offers and get more, people. There's a lot of good point guards in New York
yeah,
City.
it's a
Like, you
haven.
got to do something to stand out at that point.
Yeah.
And so he would legitimately hide in the bathroom of the train to go from school back home and vice versa until the conductor like went by or whatever, and then he was good.
Why'd he hide? Because he didn't have the bread?
Didn't have the money.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's pretty much homeless or stranded.
He lived with his
Stranded.
mom. They were he like was sleeping on the floor for a while.
Yeah.
Like they were, I think they kind of bounced around a little bit. You can read that in the story, but
Shout out to NIL money.
man,
No doubt.
and he is, and we could have done an hour with Dane about that team and his teams with Tennessee at Bruce Pearl, but it kind of raises the question of, would you rather have a Zakai Ziegler or a Kennedy Chandler moving forward? And you got to have a balance of both, right?
One and done.
You got to have the one and dones, but Zakai Ziegler is a 5'9"
Who's the one and done?
Kennedy Chandler.
Kennedy Chandler.
Oh.
He is,
Yeah, I watched him play. One and done?
Yeah, he's one and done.
So he was the top.
I think this
He's
is
not Darius Garland, though.
He was. They played the same AAU
like
team.
you said, not lottery. One
Okay.
and done though.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
I
or
just
you go-
don't know. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
projected right now, I think, 16 to 20
Which is still pretty good.
in the first
so
round.
the last game I was like, yo, who's this kid? Because I didn't see him in the Kentucky games.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep.
So yeah, I could see it, but for me, then it's like, okay, we need some more consistency with his game. Like,
No, it's been there, but this is the thing, though, too, the way Barnes has kind of structured that team up, too. Everybody gets to play. And the thing, Dane brought up the selflessness of what they got going on, too,
Right.
is why you don't see a whole lot of
Right,
it.
nah, for
But when
sure.
you give him his moment, like I saw him at, I forget who they were playing against, God, who was it? But it was a situation where it was up like 4.
right.
Pretty much spread the court.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy Chandler's at the top of the key.
Let him do his thing.
Pop, pop, pop. Layup.
Right.
Just like that. And I'm just like, that right there is why he's one and done more than anything. It's his
Yeah.
vision. He can shoot. and he can get to the rim and finish. Like
I saw all those things. I saw all those things against Missouri for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely did.
It may have been Kentucky that he did.
Kentucky in the first half.
Yeah.
He did, and then the second half, I think he only had 2 or 3 points. In the second half.
Like Zakai Ziegler, that Kentucky game, he was rocking the whole game. But then what you just said about, the way that they, sub and all that, the Missouri game, Ziegler didn't come in the second half until about the 14, 12-minute mark. You know what I'm saying? So that makes sense. So what you're saying makes plenty sense, Ramon, because a coach's style can really, hinder.
But that's what
player's,
college is too.
Sure.
Whereas I don't think necessarily it took me a minute to recognize this too, the difference between college coaching and AAU coaching and what the prospect is supposed to look like. Sure. You go to college to get structure, to understand how to set up sets. Like if you look at Rick Barnes, Coach Kennedy, he's hard on them. Yeah. But it's to the point, like super hard. I'm like, boy, like he was raised right, because a lot of kids will crash under those moments of, man, I'm gonna unenroll and stuff like that. But he's coaching him and teaching him the game to where he can go to the next level and flourish that way.
For sure.
To whereas, hey, I know you can go to the rim. Slow it down, give the pass. Run the offense. Or, like I said, his ability to get to the rim is probably some of the best I've seen at UT, maybe since –
At point guard?
At point guard?
He's got some Jordan Bone in him.
Jordan Bone?
The speed at which they play is similar to a Jordan Bone, but he's closer to Bobby Mays would be closer to a Zakai Ziegler. I think those guys
I'll put it
similar.
this way. Ron, of course, who's, UT and the basketball expert, he was hesitant, but it made sense. He was like, I don't want to sound disrespectful. He was like, a discount Kyrie.
Right.
I've heard Chris Paul about him. And
so
him and John Morant are boys, too, with the Memphis connection.
Yeah, you know what? So, like I said, I only caught, the last 3. So, I'm on now. I'm going to pay attention. But, like I said, I saw the talent, and I saw, what he could do. I saw, the kid Fulkerson. He got Bailey, I believe. He got a sweet shot.
He does.
And he got a sweet shot. He got a nice little, mid-range jumper. Right. But, maybe it's the confidence or however it is.
And that's where he is.
But the thing is, man, basketball is one of those things, if a coach gets on you, look, you ain't trying to mess up if your confidence isn't there.
Yeah.
Football is the next play. Basketball is minute to minute, second to second. You get in for one series, you mess up that one transition, and damn, I'm sub already.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
For
you were
real.
down at the end of the bench. So I've heard, I like Rick Barnes. I liked him at Texas.
Yeah.
I like Bruce Pearl. It's just
this matchup is huge this
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how these young kids that we're talking about step up and play, because this is where you really look. All right, you baby Kyrie, let's see. You know what I mean?
It's interesting because Kennedy Chandler, it seems like these guys get in the mind of, I'm a one and done, and then whatever happens in that freshman season is irrelevant towards the path that they've been put on by their AAU coach and their high school coach.
See, but AAU, this is the thing. I played AAU. AAU is just hooping.
Yeah.
We don't practice.
Get a ball.
We just hooping.
That's where Zakai Ziegler really made his mark, was at the Peach Jam in Atlanta over the summer. And he blew up because he beat Kennedy Chandler's AAU team.
Right.
And then Tennessee was like, hey, we just watched our boy Kennedy, who's been signed for a couple months now. We got to check out this Ziegler dude. And then he visited, and then 4 days after he visited, signed and moved to Knoxville.
Yeah. AAU, but AAU is good too, because for what you just said, I played AAU to 12th grade, but you get the mentality. You playing against we playing against Stephon Marbury and them. We playing the Gauchos. We play. Look, we're just we're Hoop Street gang. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you want that challenge. You could get put on trying to get that scholarship. You get put on like that.
We had people, of course, saying Kennedy's not a one and done.
Right.
But those are the people that expected to see AAU numbers or AAU game, and that's
this
not
game
what
is getting polished right now.
It's getting polished. It's one of those things to where, man, you knew how to play. Well, you went to college as a running back safety?
I went as a safety, yeah.
As a safety, and it was like, nah, Keith, you probably better at a linebacker. It's you got polished up in college. I knew how to kick set in high school,
right?
But I didn't when I got to college,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things.
I knew how to backpedal in high school, but I didn't when I got to college. Not because what I thought was backpedaling, I can get laughed at in individual drills. So I had to learn how to backpedal.
We can talk about it because my kick sets, man, and it kind of burned me a little bit the way I said at times. I would just keep kicking and 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 kicking. Next thing you know, the defenders were so dumb too. They would just stay in front of me and not go to the corner. And when I got to college, I'm kick stepping and I'm like, oh, he to the quarterback. And the coach is like, no, you got to kick to a point, set and keep your feet moving. Like so that's what Kennedy's getting in college right now, man. It's a method to it.
For sure.
And playing point guard for Rick Barnes is a project.
Yeah, so Rick Barnes is I remember my DB coach in college was like, man, just giving you tools to put in your toolbox.
And put in your toolbox.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Every coach uses that.
I feel like I went to college. I didn't even have a toolbox. They told me, it's like, dog, you suck. Like somebody else, like, Sam.
Perfect.
It's like, dog, you suck.
615-737-1045 our number. When we come back, we're going to shift gears from one Tennessee sport to another just for a moment. And I could do a whole 4-hour just show about baseball, but I enjoy having listeners on this radio station, so I'm not going to do that. But there is a guy for Tennessee yesterday that threw a lot of fast pitches, and I'm going to tell you exactly how many pitches above 100 miles an hour he threw. Oh, this is wild.
What? Like this wasn't
above
a closer.
100. Like just with no. He probably will
That's
be.
vapor. He's throwing lasers.
And my buddy Ben McKee is now reporting that he threw one even faster than what they originally thought. So this is pretty cool. We'll do that next. We got Casey Alexander coming up 8:45. Coach Mac at 9:20. Inky Johnson at 9:45. We're rolling right along at 104.5 The Zone.
Mortgage interest rates are still sitting at an all-time low level, but they are starting to go up. So if you've been sitting on the fence to get a refi, if you don't have your pre-approved home loan locked in, now is the time. Right now, the interest is sitting in the low twos. Interest rates are sitting in the low twos, which means by refinancing your 30-year mortgage, the home loan expert can save you hundreds of dollars a month. And this past year's just been rough and it's probably going to get a little bit tougher. And a lot of people are struggling with bills and debt already, but I'm here to tell you, your home is your biggest asset. So with the home equity so high right now, is the perfect time to do a cash out refi. It can lower your monthly payments. It can also give you cash to pay off some of that debt. And you can skip a few mortgage payments. Now, that's how you crush 2022 with a little less worry. And if you're looking to buy a home, they are selling fast in our area. So getting pre-approved is key to finding your dream home. At thehomeloanexpert.com, they can lock in your interest rate for sure, project your payments, and get you pre-qualified. So when you find that right home, you can submit that offer and close on your dream home. Plus, thehomeloanexpert.com is closing purchases in less than 30 days, so don't wait. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
JMart Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Two NFL vets and a guy born in the 90s.
This
hanging out with
guy.
me.
2 vets and a kid.
Will, yeah, that's my guy, Will. Hey, yo, these off by air convos. No, let me stop.
Keith Bulluck, Ramon Foster, Will Boling with you. Andrew Malone, our producer.
Will said on the break, and I'm 24. Keith said, 24.
Boy.
It's a good
Yo,
show.
when I was
too.
24, in Nashville, there wasn't even a tin roof. How about that?
Was the hotel behind us still a Shoney's?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
24. So I got here when I was 23, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So 24, I had to be like 2001,
Yeah.
2002,
Yeah.
2001.
They should say Nashville was a big town. Was it a big town?
Nah, it was. Like, so I got here, like, trust me, man, being a first round draft pick.
What would you expect?
Especially Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
I thought I was Kush.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was closer to Knoxville than it
Jerry
is like.
Maguire.
It
And
was
what's crazy is
yeah.
my senior year, we played in the first ever Music City Bowl. We played Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
And I remember it was my senior year, and I'm thinking about combine. I'm thinking about draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I didn't go out. I didn't do anything. We beat Kentucky, and then
That's beautiful. Appreciate that.
back in the day, like we went
Yeah,
to
appreciate
like Bar. It was Bar Nashville. It was on
Nashville?
Second Ave,
Yeah.
across from. It's by the Walk Bridge. But Bar Nashville. That's where we went. And then when I got here, Jim Schwartz. We went to the Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
After I got
Oh, yeah.
drafted, we went to the Ruth Chris, and then Millennial Maxwell House. That's
heard
where.
about the Maxwell
So after
House.
when I got drafted, you come in 2 weeks after the draft.
Yeah.
So we were in that Millennial Maxwell House from like May 1st to like June 24th. Yo, it was terrible. I still remember those green walls.
For
I
real?
don't even think
Yeah.
they've renovated it in 20. Millennial Maxwell House, if you listening, y'all need some renovations, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me come through there and you still got them green walls.
You know what I heard about the Maxwell House? It's one of those I don't know if it's urban
Good
tales
coffee
or
there?
like no, probably it should be according to Keith. They better have one good
Shoney's
thing.
used to be across the street from there.
But they said, was it true that like the freak, he had like a whole floor to himself or something like that? Was that ever true?
I mean, for what? I mean, it could be, but it doesn't serve a
Yeah.
purpose because you had to be in that piece by a curfew anyway. So
Yeah, there you go.
can't have no women up there. So what you doing? You freaking by yourself?
Partying
Oh, my
by
bad.
yourself.
I forgot.
Partying by yourself.
This isn't my normal gig. My bad. You gotta control me.
645-737-1045, our number. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Cousin P, hanging out with us this morning. What's going on, Cousin P?
What's up, P?
Hey, what's up? Good morning, guys. I'm loving the show, man. We got two sworn enemies side by side, man. A Steeler and a Titan. What's going on with this?
Pushing P.
He even told me he hated the Steelers when he was younger because his brothers liked them, man.
Yeah.
deep.
And I hated the Steelers growing up because Keith Bulluck didn't like them. So there you go.
Ah, you see?
Yeah, it is. It's so poetic. So we got mock draft starting to come out.
Yeah.
So I got two questions. One, I just want to know y'all's personal opinion about who y'all liking right now for the Titans and maybe what guys could be a possible reach, but maybe even fall to us. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
see, man. Jeffrey Simmons fell to us and probably shouldn't have been, but I'm definitely grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so hear about that. And then, did y'all see about Russell Wilson, man? Apparently he scrubbed all his stuff from the Seattle Seahawks, or about
that's
the
about
Seattle
right.
Seahawks on his page.
That's about right. They control their own news waves now, man.
It sounds like Russell Wilson confers to the Titans is what I'm hearing, so let's go, man. I will never listen, guys. It's good talking to you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Cousin
you,
P.
Pushing P.
I'll tell you who the Jeffrey Simmons of this draft is. It's Jameson Williams out of Alabama.
Heck yeah, it is.
Coming off a torn ACL, a guy that would fit perfectly in this team and what the Titans need.
That's
but-
also PTSD.
As many
Titans
times,
fans.
man, I'll tell you what. As
Injured
many
draft picks.
as many risks as they've taken in the first round, they got a hit on their first round pick this year. I know I'm not exactly breaking news there, but
I think, I think they need somebody to be an immediate impact with this draft pick. You know what I mean? Because they're right on the cusp. I go offense. I know Moan said yesterday, maybe, you go on the O-line for the first round pick. But now I'm thinking a little different. Like, Tannehill is going to be here another year. He needs a weapon.
That's true.
He needs
With
a
no
weapon.
second round pick.
Right. So, I'm going to bank that one of these old linemen slip. You know what I mean? One of the better offensive linemen slip, and he could be. Ones. You know what I'm saying? But I know selfishly that obviously the offense needs more weapons for Ryan Tannehill. So that's probably where maybe you get I'm not gonna go first round on a tight end though. Like, there ain't no tight end out there worth a first round pick.
Not this year.
Not this year. Yeah. Let's get into this after the break because we touched on this a little bit yesterday, but I think the wide receiver aspect of this, I want to ask you all whether this Titans team needs more bigger physical guys or if you need to get something else and get some more speed because Jamison Williams and Treylon Burks are the two SEC receivers that could be there at 26, and you've got two pretty different styles of slots there. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but didn't really totally dive into it. Plus, I teased this before the break. Ben Joyce, Tennessee pitcher yesterday, threw a pitch that was 104 miles per hour per Ben McKee of VolQuest this morning.
Not as a closer, as a in-game pitcher.
Yeah. Well, he pitched an inning. He's a reliever.
Like Chapman. He's throwing faster than Chapman.
Yeah, about the same. Tony Vitello, after the game, was asked, said, what do you think about Ben Joyce throwing 5 straight 103-mile-an-hour pitchers? Tony Vitello's response? Well, it's kind of disappointing because he's throwing 104 in practice. It's exactly word for word what he said. He's trying to, this guy's a sophomore coming off a Tommy John surgery, so he's trying to temper the expectations.
Yeah.
He wants this guy to be his, secret weapon when they get an SEC play. Yeah. There ain't no tempering the expectations once you've thrown 104.
My elbow hurts just thinking about throwing that hard.
But of course, I'm deep into this baseball world too, up against the break, but I heard there's a 16-year-old that threw 101.
Wow.
A 16, Keith.
Yeah, these kids. I'm not getting up against that kid.
I don't trust him.
I told you,
flinching every time.
In 6th grade, I was just thinking, please just walk me. If it ever got to 3 balls, that kid, I'm stepping out of the box, man. I ain't.
Oh man,
I gotta find it. I gotta figure out how old that kid was, but he wasn't 18. He threw 101.
Halftime of the show. When we come back, we will shift gears a bit to some Titans conversation. Plus, it's Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville. And I've got a dude that sitting to my left that is from Tennessee, played for the Vols. I got a guy that was a Nashville sports legend. I'll give you that, Keith, at middle linebacker, outside linebacker. And just what it's like to play in this state and in this city and watch Nashville kind of grow because Pekka Rinne did that over 15 years. So we'll do that. We'll do Casey Alexander, 8:45. Lots still to come. JMart Ramon, powered by All 4 Seasons on 104.5 The Zone. It is 8:03. Good morning. I'm Will Boling. Today is Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville. The Predators legend will be the first Predator to ever have his jersey number hang from the rafters in Bridgestone Arena. Rinne spent his entire 683-game NHL career in Nashville and will be honored tonight before the Predators host the Dallas Stars. Yesterday, a Major League Baseball spokesperson said the league will begin canceling regular season games soon if the league and the MLBPA can't come to terms on a new collective bargaining agreement by Monday. Games will be canceled and salary will not be paid for those games. Opening day at the moment is scheduled for March 31st. And according to a New York Post report, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman is expected to leave Fox Sports and Joe Buck to become the main analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Off and running on this Thursday edition, JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons, right here on 104.5 The Zone. We've got Belmont head coach Casey Alexander coming up at 8:45 as the Bruins get ready to play the Murray State Racers, the 21st ranked Murray State Racers. We've got Coach Dave McGinnis and a conversation about the NFL Combine coming up in hour 4. Inky Johnson gets you a little motivated for your Thursday, middle of the day to finish off the show. But gentlemen, halfway through, and here is our daily Aaron Rodgers update. A little bit of breaking news this morning. Per ESPN's Diana Rossini, who tweets just a couple of minutes ago, Aaron Rodgers will be informing the Packers of his decision soon, per league sources. Rossini saying, I'm told there are multiple teams with offers on the table, but of course, nothing can happen until the Green Bay Packers allow a trade. So no really new information, but maybe we're getting a little bit closer to that information becoming factual.
That's corny because at the end of the day, it's going to develop when they. I understand what time of year it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's not much going on. NBA isn't going on this week. So like you said yesterday, Ramon, Aaron Rodgers is controlling the airwaves. That's crazy. It's pretty crazy because it's not that like who cares? Like
he realized that after yesterday he wasn't in the news cycle enough and said, all right, let me text somebody.
I'm not mad at Aaron Rodgers. I heard he just moved to Nashville. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hey, Aaron, if you're in the area, go check out Just Love Coffee in Franklin.
Hey, get you a toffee coffee and you'll never go anywhere else.
You're good. I got you. You know?
It's right up his alley. You get him a nice fresh juice, man.
Hey, we got oat milk. We got almond milk. We got all the milks. Come on through. Yeah, we got vegan. What you need, baby?
Keith, I'm serious. If you are what you eat, then I am a toffee coffee from Just Love.
Nice. Appreciate the plug.
Absolutely.
Did you guys think that story yesterday was weird about the GM for the Packers saying that he didn't explicitly state that he would agree to a trade for Aaron? I thought that was kind of strange.
Yeah, the words were, I don't think we're going to go down those roads right now. And Aaron Rodgers said he's had some real honest conversations with team leadership. I had that in my notes. I'm also looking at the television right now, and that's exactly what's being discussed by your boy Ryan Clark, Ramon.
Goodicus. Well, again, I'll tell anybody. Keith, you can I guess, comment with or against me on this. Most superstars I've met, been around, interact with are weird. Am I wrong? And I say this because in their world, like those guys that are that good, that don't have a circle around them. We know Aaron doesn't have a circle around him. That's the world of Aaron. They operate to where not that they're above, but they don't understand everything else. So, like, if you take their importance away, it flips them, man. Like,
yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like, look, so I have the same like best friends since like 6th grade, 7th grade. You know what I mean? So for me, there was no there's checks and balances. You know what I mean? Like, if you get too big, somebody's gonna check your ass. You know what I'm saying?
You tripping.
Like, you know, so you know, I just feel that I've seen, and we've all seen a lot of players that
Spaz.
Yeah, Spaz. They run they march to the beat of their own drum because they're the only drummer. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
I was listening to a podcast yesterday that said, like, Aaron Rodgers, like, I think we're just learning that Aaron Rodgers doesn't really have friends. Like, he doesn't have dudes that are just going to check him and be like, hey, like, maybe instead of making yourself throw up for a cleanse, like, let's just go, like, have a beer.
Let's go
have a catch.
he got rid of all of them, maybe.
He did, but to that point, like, those type of people don't have guys to joke on them.
Right.
Like, we had a joke session about at the end of the 7. He was like, Mo, remember this? Like, I'm okay with that because there's checks and balances on how people operate with one another. Or if I got out of line, somebody in my group, my circle, gonna be like, hey, Mo, that was
tripping.
You tripping.
He either doesn't have it or he doesn't listen to it or he just doesn't care.
But that's the thing, though, too, is
maybe a little bit of everything.
He got us talking about him too much already.
He's living he's living rent free.
I don't really even care. Tell you the truth.
This offseason, no. Is it interesting? Yeah, for conversation's sake, but like he's either going to Green Bay or probably Denver still.
I think San Francisco is in the mix just with his California background too.
But see, that's what he wants us to think.
Right, but the Packers aren't going to send him to San Francisco.
Right, that's another NFC
That's why
team.
Tom Brady's going to go to San Francisco.
My God.
I think you're right.
222-22.
Pekka Rinne.
That's right. Today is Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville.
Wreck the Peck, baby.
That's awesome. He has a day.
I am really like.
I just got my jersey.
I love.
I didn't even get that.
As somebody that is
high school,
as I've lived in this city my whole life, other than going to college, and like I love athletes that embrace and like claim this city and these organizations. Like I think that's cool because like when I was a kid, like Keith, as you know, man, like this city has changed so much since you were drafted here, since Pekka Rinne was starting at his prime here, that I think that's the coolest part of sports to me, are guys that don't just claim the organization, don't just embrace the team, but embrace the fans, embrace everything around it. And Pekka Rinne is a guy that won the NHL equivalent of the Walter Payton Man of the Year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like the King Clancy Trophy in 2021 when he went out. He went out the perfect way. His son just started to walk. He's living back in Finland where he's from, and that dude lived his best life here, and he deserves the best. He's going to get an awesome reception tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm a firm believer. Give people their flowers while they can receive them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it after the fact. And a lot of people say this and agree to it. I didn't see it, but I remember it happening. You know, when they held the NHL All-Star game here.
Yeah.
Or when
cool.
they went on their run.
Yeah. 2017, both of them.
That's when Nashville, like, took off to that point. And he was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So say what you want to about, the Titans or the Vols, whoever come in town. I think that party of theirs is what struck the match and say, oh, we can really do this in this city now, So that's got to be pretty cool to be one of the staples in that organization and to get a day.
The Stanley Cup final helped open the opportunity for Nashville to get the NFL draft. Like that was one of the first times that the scene on Broadway in 2017 for the Stanley Cup final, and then the scene on Broadway in 2019 for the NFL draft. Very similar, looks on Broadway of just like it is absolutely packed.
So like for me, getting here in 2000, right as or before the Preds got here, I think it was definitely before. I felt as if I used to say, I'm the second best defender ever to play in Nashville. Pekka Rinne's the first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just me. Me being me. But Pekka definitely. I remember the first time I met him might have been like first time I met him was a very casual situation.
Yeah.
Right here at Losers Bar. Steve Ford, what up?
Yeah.
Just having a beer on like a Saturday afternoon, like in the off season. He was actually with Pekka was actually with my boy EJ. I don't even know if Pekka drinks or anything. It doesn't even matter. But my point is, just sitting there talking, I didn't even know these guys were hockey players.
Yeah.
And Pekka. I was still playing too. So he was a young Pekka Rinne, and he was like, kind of gave me my props or whatever. So, and then EJ kind of told me who he was, and then I've always watched him ever since.
Yeah.
So fast forward all the way to what you were saying, to when the Stanley Cup came here, to see how he went out. Like, so for me, being an actual Nashville athlete, and to see another one that I got to know and got to watch their career and to see how it ends. I think that for all Nashville athletes, he's had the most storybook ending to his career where he got to finish. They didn't win a championship, but at least he got him there. He was still playing at a high level. You know, all the things, the only thing I think he's missing would be what you would love is that Stanley Cup, but we all would want that championship. But overall career-wise, yeah, he's definitely had the best sports career in Nashville, in my opinion.
That's tough.
He's one of the most influential people in sports in this city ever.
Hey, also, I didn't know he was from Finland, so I got to look Pekka up when I go to Finland. I got a homie in Finland now. Y'all have a great time.
Said he's got he's got a place like on the water, cell service, just out there. Just living his best life.
Hey, somebody's gonna have to hook me up. I'm not sure. I know you listening. Yo, somebody get the message. The Bullocks are coming to Finland to check out Pekka. We're gonna leave the kids at home, but we coming through. Or just tell me the best place to stay. We don't gotta stay at your house.
You figured the link up after that.
Yeah,
615-737-1045. Coming up next, I want to take a look back at Pekka Rinne's career and a guy who is affectionately known as a man of the people in Nashville. We love guys of the people. As people that grew up here, you guys, you played college football in this state, played in the NFL here in this city. I appreciate guys like this, and I want to go kind of dive deeper into his career and the way he left Nashville and much better than he found it in the Nashville Predators organization. We got Casey Alexander coming up at 8:45, Coach Dave McGinnis at 9:20, Inky Johnson at 9:45. Lots more still to come. It's JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone. JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone. Looking forward to catching up with Belmont head coach Casey Alexander coming up in about 20 minutes. Only one more weekend left for the OVC in basketball. They got conference tournament next week.
Yeah.
It's coming together quick.
Coming up quick, man. Speaking of which, so I was, doing some extra stuff on our guy Dane here, and I was just looking at his class, the 2003 recruiting class.
Yeah.
Number one guy.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
It's so interesting, though, with recruiting, how everything finally shakes out. Like, it was LeBron, who was a perfect scorer, and, of course, he's a legend.
Yep.
But Luol Deng was the second
That's right.
overall prospect that year. Shannon Brown was the number 4 rated prospect. I'm just going through guys
Carmelo
that we
was
know.
there. No, Carmelo was.
He
He was the same high school
02.
class, right? 02?
He was 02.
Okay.
They went in the league.
They went in the
together.
league the same year. That's right.
But
Syracuse guy?
You ever heard of David Padgett,
Yeah.
Kansas?
Yeah.
See, I would not know him
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
He's got a Nashville connection.
Does he?
I want
I
to say
don't
he
know about
does.
all that, but
But he's Reno, Nevada is where he's from. He might be here now. But crazy thing, Kendrick Perkins was the number 6 overall prospect in that class.
He's definitely got a Nashville.
And then, of course, Charlie Villanueva. I'm just trying to look up guys. You ever heard of a Brian Butch?
no.
Definitely.
But what I do know is when you speak about basketball, it's one of those things like you're highly touted. Like, for example, when I played, we had a dude on my team, Roshmel Jones, and he lived in, we got him, we recruited him, whatever. He liked playing for us. But he went to UConn and won a national. He was Big East freshman of the year and all these things, sophomore year, balled out. But then he became the 6th man once they got Rip Hamilton and all those dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was still a part of that national championship team. So I say all that to say, look, I learned very early that you have to, like, practice at basketball.
All the time.
And then even when you are the man, somebody else is still practicing.
Yeah.
Somebody like that. Even, like, football, you can't necessarily practice. Certain positions you can. But hoops, there's nothing stopping you from going out there, doing some dribbling drills, shuffling, doing some shooting drills, whatever it is. So it's almost like a great example is, if I'd like to see where Jimmy Butler was when, like, he came out in high school. But Jimmy Butler's an all-star now. Ja Morant wasn't the man. He was on Zion Williamson's team, Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? He was on his AAU team.
Yeah.
And now Ja Morant is the all-star. You know what I'm saying? Zion's been getting all that hype since high school for the dunks and all that, and he could ball, but where's his fat butt now? You know what I'm saying?
And actually, I had this on my list of things we can talk about this week. Maybe we can do this tomorrow. I don't know if y'all heard JJ Redick and what he said the other day on ESPN about Zion Williamson being a detached teammate.
Yeah.
From his perspective.
I saw who was it? Not Middleton, but from Portland called him out. It was basically CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
It's like, I hadn't heard from the guy.
So I wanna do this tomorrow with y'all, and it's a broader discussion of how difficult is it to stay engaged with your team and kind of stay with the guys when you're out with an injury for a long period of time.
Knows that though. Like being injured, away from the team.
Yeah.
To me, I thought it was the worst thing ever.
Well, I mean, injury. When I got hurt here. The only time I got hurt was week 15. You know, with the Titans, I had 2 weeks left on my contract. I was, rehabbing. I started rehabbing maybe January 1st. I remember I didn't go. The Titans. CJ broke 2,000 yards the next week for Seattle. I didn't go, or 2 weeks later, I didn't go because I wanted to get back on my rehab. I'm trying to get on the field. March 1st is when the new year starts for the NFL. So that means it's a whole new year. And obviously I remember, I'll never forget, Brad Brown, our head trainer at the time, comes to me and was like, I had one more week of rehab here, like with the Titans, because my contract is up. So it was like, oh, word? And I was like, well, you don't have to worry about that. This is the last day I'll be here.
Damn.
So,
No
like,
way.
it's cold world. So, like, I rehabbed, like, I don't even know who I rehabbed with, but I got back out there. So I felt from my thing that I was put out on the street butt naked. Like, that's really how I felt. Like,
But
you know what I mean?
in the different situations, though, I've seen guys in
But that's the
Pittsburgh.
business, though, so it's not personal.
No,
Yeah,
no.
right.
But I've seen guys in Pittsburgh who had that same thing happen, and the team allowed them to rehab up until they signed with somebody else, though.
Hey,
I've actually seen that.
Hey, I've seen that too. I know I thought things could have been done, but you know,
Man.
I don't
But
know.
I'll say this though, so I have no major injuries, thank God for that, but I ended up having like a hyperextended knee, like my next to last year in the league. So I was just like out all the camp, and like the missing of meetings I was cool with, but it was at first I was like the fear of missing out. I was thinking to myself, like, I just signed that contract that year, and I was, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, golly, there's somebody getting better in practice, and I need to be doing something. Like, it irked me not to be out, because I was already committed to the team and everything. And I always thought in the back, somebody's chasing me. I always thought somebody, so it pushed me. But I couldn't, I rushed to get back is what I'm saying.
I definitely did too.
I can't miss it.
Yeah.
That's just the point where I tell people, and it's hard to really bring people in a box to understand the psychology of sports when you're competing.
Yeah.
But like the idea that you force yourself out when you're probably too premature sometimes, it happens inadvertently from coaches. From your players, your teammates. Hey, you straight?
From yourself, though.
From yourself, yeah.
Like, I remember, with the Giant, we always have a family barbecue, you know, before I go back to camp, Rockland Lake, whatever. And then that's the day I got signed. Mm-hmm. So it's like, to the Giants, everybody's thinking, before ACL, Keith Bulluck to the Giants. Yeah. And in my mind, it's like, man, I'm 7 months off ACL. I hope I could get out there and do my thing. Right. So, like, you put the pressure on yourself to be the person that you were, or people expect you to be, and then inside that you're not that person right now.
Yeah. I get it. For real.
That's tough. And then you're in another team, another city. Me, I was with the Giants. So it's like going to the Steelers. You know what I mean? So
the expectation was high.
I feel like people don't understand, too, how much different it is rehabbing an injury when you're in the heat of the battle of still being an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And people don't understand how hard physical therapy is. Like, when you're going through and rehabbing stuff, like, I had all my Achilles issues, and obviously, I don't know, a walk-on cross-country runner isn't the same as an NFL player.
Don't downplay.
Don't
do that.
But still, like, people don't understand, like, how difficult it is when you're, like, rehabbing something every day.
Bruh.
And, like, that's practice. Like, that's his, like, taxing his practices. Like, I would rather go to practice than like, and a lot of times I didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. to go to practice and do 2 a day.
And that was the only, so I played here 10 years, never, like, I used to give guys in the training room grief, like, you still in the training room?
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting here taping my fingers, like, never hurt. I played in 137 straight games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I go to New York, and I'm doing exactly what you said, Will. Like, I'm up at 5 in the morning, going to rehab every day, before practice, after practice, sleeping in once I got in the hyperbaric chamber like Michael Jackson, I knew it was over.
For real?
I'm like, I'm doing too much, man. What I'm doing in here?
Yeah.
Dude, I would do every run, and you do like ice and stem every single day.
Ultrasound.
Like, it's not even just, like, even when you're back, you're not totally back.
I bought a hyperbaric chamber.
People don't understand the maintenance too. Like,
that's expensive.
You get like a soft tissue injury, like, you've got to stretch, and like after practice, the amount of maintenance you have to do to keep it feeling good. Like that's another year after you injure something is maintaining the health that you've in the strength you've rebuilt.
Okay, perfect. Then we tied into sports. We're talking sport, but Bud situation.
Yeah,
you're talking about getting back, and the prevention of getting over that. And you mentioned something too. It's not the current. Is you're really rehabbing for the next offseason.
Yeah, you are.
And you having an ACL, like, you played that year and then you were done, right?
Yeah.
But, like, as far as that year and trying to stay ahead of the curve in your production,
you can't.
It wasn't you, was it?
No way. You can't. Like, you can't do it. And you mentioned Bud, and I'll mention Taylor Lewan.
Yeah.
He caught a lot of grief, early in the season. You know what I mean? But I felt for him, I knew that he and Bud were getting out there too fast with those ACLs, but they are dudes. Like, Taylor Lewan's a dude, Bud is a dude, especially in their head, in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you get out there, and you put yourself in a bad situation. I love the way that the season ended for Taylor because he finished strong.
He did finish strong.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like, he
100%.
finished strong. I'm sure he finished with a season that he was happy about. Look, I love the way that he put his head down. Bud, too. He took the time off. They put their head down, went to work, and at the end of the day, they were huge and big, pieces of this team as they should have been.
And not only just that, it's the things you do in a regular off season. Like, we go work out.
Right.
But then when you got kids, it's dad stuff, too.
Yeah.
It's, man, we might walk the zoo.
Yeah.
We got to go down the slide. If you got little ones, like I'm watching Bud on his IG story, and they're in his backyard or somewhere in some backyard, and his little son got a four-wheeler.
Right.
And here he is riding beside him or walking beside him.
Right.
I'm like, that's practice after the workout right there.
Right.
Like, that's an extra rehab thing, and to where he's working that muscle and just – the normalcy of being who you are. He couldn't do that last offseason. Taylor couldn't do that last offseason. And like you said, I think for most athletes that are right-minded, the mental part going to tell you can before the body ever allows you to.
Absolutely.
And that's where
guys,
quotation marks, expose themselves in bad injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or slow starts,
Right.
where we like to call it sometimes.
615-737-1045, the number. I want to talk about this Pekka Rinne stuff here in a moment, but first we go to Jeremy on the phone lines. Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning, Jeremy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I was just going to comment, about the pressures that, that they put on athletes. I mean, it's even down to, like, when they're little kids, 11, 12 years old, competing in, competitive baseball and stuff like that. It creates anxiety that, follows them, follows these kids all the way up to high school and stuff like that, into college and stuff like that. And that level to perform, starts to play into their self-worth and stuff like that. And I bet you guys, in the NFL, like in the older days, they probably didn't really pay too much attention to the mental health aspects of the game. But now I hope that they're starting to look into those things to try to help provide the players like some sort of outlets with dealing with those types of things and being aware of what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, Jeremy.
Like, I can comment on that. Like, I grew up, playing sports in the late 80s, early 90s. There was no mental health. There was none of that, But I had two friends that I grew up with that, like, they were sick at basketball. Like, nice. Like, in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. But by 12th grade, 11th grade, my one dude, he was nice. He just didn't want to play no more because they had these dads that was on him.
Yeah.
So that would create some anxiety, some pressure. But, like, for me, as an athlete, there was no such thing as, like, anxiety. Pressure was what you made it. You know what I'm saying?
You can fix it.
Yeah, like, there's no mental health. Like, maybe I needed some mental health when I was with the Giants or something like that, just because things weren't like I was used to, until all the things you added, like the off season wasn't normal, and you got to go out there. You're around people you don't know. I mean, it worked out, but I'm glad that mental health thing is something that, athletes can go talk to people about, because it wasn't even a thing. Like, it wasn't even a thing back then.
But this is the other part, though, too, is because I went back. 03, I think, is, and I had to look at it. I'm sure for football they had ranking class, but 02 they didn't have a ranking class on Rivals, or 24/7 I was looking at. But now the nationwide rankings of kids at an early age, you got people offering kids in the 7th grade, scholarships and stuff.
Right.
So, and like you said, that pressure performing, I looked up that kid that threw 101. It was one teenager for sure. And just the expectation of doing certain stuff like that instead of, people hit a high super early these days with exposure, with social media, with their handlers, with the recruiting agencies that they parents hire and stuff like that. But that one kid from 2016 that hit 101 didn't do anything, but because he went number 4 overall in MLB draft, but he just played in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even make it to the bigs. So I'm sure that's got to be a deadening thing to him also,
I had a coach tell me in high school, like, you only have so much emotional energy you can use in one season. And when you got so many people, like, putting pressure on you, our coach would be like, don't use all your emotional energy for the beginning of the season. You save that for your championship at the end of the season. You got to build up to that and train yourself. And when you got all these outside things putting that pressure on you, that's taking money out of that bank that you can't cash in when it matters on the field.
So to be an athlete, like, in all seriousness, to be a high-level athlete, you're going to have to deal with pressure. Like, bottom line, we're having all this, and I understand mental health, but you're going to have to deal with pressure.
Way to
And
bring
if
it
you
back.
can't
For sure.
deal with pressure and anxiety, you might not be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just might not be, because it's tough. There's going to be some things that you're going to have to get over on your own. You're going to have to figure it out. And this all started with Zion Williamson. But let's just go to LeBron James. LeBron James was no less hyped than Zion Williamson.
The highest.
Right.
And look, so at the end of the day, I don't feel bad for Zion Williamson. He should have people around him to help him, and those people can feel bad for him.
Goes to that circle, man.
But, comes back to that circle you was talking about.
So we're going to talk with a native son of this city coming up here in a minute, and Casey Alexander, a guy that is from this area and has now become head coach of his alma mater at Belmont. But kind of continuing what we discussed in our first segment here this hour, the Pekka Rinne stuff. 39 years old, spent a lot of his time now in his native Finland. His girlfriend, their son, their dog, and he's been skiing. I mean, this man, just reading about him in this really good piece by Paul Scrabine of the Tennessean, he said, off the ice, I'm just an everyday man. I'm just a man of the people, is what he said when he retired. I feel like that's who I am. And it's not just the on-the-ice stuff that he did that endears himself to this city. It's that aspect of embracing this city. And I know that's a conscious decision you have to make outside the field of play, to not just, it's not just being good at something and being the probably the best Nashville Predator ever that makes this guy a legend. It's what he gave back to this community that's been so cool to see.
Yeah, that's, and being a Titan that played here for 10 years, the things that you said really resonated, because for me, I don't necessarily believe in, playing sports, making a king's ransom, and then not giving back to the community that you're in. You know what I'm saying? When we all, when I got here, that's what everyone did. Eddie did that. Steve did that.
Right.
Marcus Rao. Everybody did that. So that's where I learned it from. But also, this is a town where a superstar ain't gonna make it. If you coming in here a prima donna, superstar, all that, ain't nobody with all that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? A superstar really isn't gonna make it. So, like you said, New York did to you. You gotta humble yourself, come in, do your work, and be amongst the people, man. You know what I mean? You go out there, you do your job. These people work hard. The people
support you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you go out there, you put it down every win, lose, or draw. I'll never forget in 2002, we lost to I think we lost to the Bengals. Maybe it was my second year, and we finished 9-7. And terrible. The game was like this outside. Yeah. You know what I mean? But all those fans that stayed, we actually lost that game, maybe, I think. All those fans, they stayed and gave us a standing ovation. I'll never forget that.
Beautiful.
All right, we're going to get a break and catch up with Coach Casey Alexander coming up here in a minute. We've got Coach Dave McGinnis coming up in hour 4. But coming up next, big one tonight, Belmont, Murray State, national TV on ESPNU. We'll get the full preview coming up with the head coach of the Belmont Bruins next on 104.5 The Zone. JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons here on 104.5 The Zone. Alongside Keith Bulluck and Ramon Foster, I'm Will Boling. Big one tonight in college hoops in what begins a big college basketball weekend. And that starts tonight in the city of Nashville as Belmont travels to number 21 Murray State for a huge matchup in the Ohio Valley Conference. As we say hello on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline to Belmont head coach Casey Alexander, kind enough to give us a couple of minutes this morning. Coach, good morning and great to talk with you. I know it's going to be a big one tonight against Murray State.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me. And yeah, you're right. We're excited about it.
Well, this game has really turned into not only one of the premier matchups of the OVC, but one of the premier mid-major matchups in all of college basketball. I know that 2020 OVC championship is a game you remember very fondly, the 76-75 win with Tyler Scanlon getting that bucket with 3 seconds left. But how cool has it been to kind of see this game become such a big game, not just in this area, but really in all of mid-major college basketball?
Yeah, I think it's a real rivalry for all the right reasons. You know, we typically each have really good teams. Games are incredibly competitive. Standings on the line more years than not. I think every year we've been in the Valley, in the Ohio Valley, which is 10 years. I think Belmont or Murray has finished first, and maybe first or second in all but like 1 or 2 of those years. So a lot of history, a lot of fun. Good teams tonight should be no different.
So as being a head coach of a game of this magnitude, you're dealing with a bunch of young guys for the most part. Where do you channel their energy throughout the day leading up to the game? I know we used to play big game music before, we went on the field to play in these type of situations. But where do you lead your guys tonight with their emotions and expectations?
Yeah, what we've done is challenge them to focus on the things that matter the most. I mean, they're going to be ready to play. They're going to be excited about the game. I have no doubt, that they woke up ready to go, and it's hard to suppress all that, especially when you don't play till 8 o'clock at night. And so, but that doesn't mean we're going to walk in there and play great. We've got to show up with incredible focus and high concentration level and, a tough spirit and all the things that, that are going to be needed within the game, not necessarily the hype before the game. That'll take care of itself.
Mm-hmm. Coach, since I can remember being in here in Tennessee, Belmont has always been, a tough, small OVC school. And you played for Coach Bird, and he had success, and you come in and you have success. What is it that Coach Bird instilled in your teams that you carry over? Because it seems like Belmont has a culture that you're familiar with, obviously. But how is that carried over from what you learned to what you instill in your players now to keep that great tradition going?
Yeah, I think that's just it. The beauty of our success over the last however many years you want to say, 25, 30 years, has been that nothing has really ever changed. Certainly kids are different these days. The game's different these days. There's a lot that's changed on the periphery, but within our walls, we're still recruiting the same kind of people, the same kind of players, committed to the same kind of system. The cohesiveness within our staff over the years has been tremendous. The retention with our players through the years has been tremendous, and all of those things kind of add up to the culture that you're talking about, and really a seamless transition as far as from him to me, and then hopefully we can keep it going.
What type of you mentioned recruiting, so what type of player do you look to recruit, and do you think that the players that you do get onto your team have a hard time adjusting to your system, or is it a smoother transition for most?
No, it's not. It's not a tough transition at all because we're not recruiting players that don't fit into our system. Mm-hmm. We're very strategic about getting guys that understand how we play and can. I mean, it takes some amount of time, but it's not an apples and oranges thing. That's one thing that we've stuck to our guns with through the years is we all have to have talent. We're not naive enough to think that you can win without having good players, and we've got good players, but. We're only going to take guys that fit our system and over time can develop and really excel in the system that we do play.
Casey Alexander with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Coach Ben Shepherd is one of those guys who's really had a big season, 16.5 points per game this year. Where have you seen him take the biggest step forward now in this junior season for him?
Yeah, just the consistency of it all. He was as a freshman, he played an important role, but he came off the bench. You know, he might play 15 minutes one day and 5 the next. Last year, he started every game, and he had great moments, and he had bad moments. He had great 10-game stretch in the middle of conference play last year, but a poor finish. Last 5 or 6 games, he was really struggling. And this year, he's led us in scoring from wire to wire. He's been incredibly consistent on both ends of the floor. You know, you look at his point production and you think, yeah, he's a really good player, but he's also guarded the best perimeter player on the other team literally every game we've played.
Coach, go ahead.
No, you got it, Will.
All right. Coach Grayson Murphy has just been phenomenal over his whole career at Belmont. 2nd in assists, 7th in steals right now among all active players in college basketball. I've never seen a point guard like this rebound the basketball so well. We've probably talked about this a couple times, Coach, but just how impressed are you with his ability to continue to take those next steps and kind of challenge himself to keep getting better despite, he's kind of always had success when he's been in a Belmont uniform.
Yeah, you want to talk about the model of consistency. There you have it right there. I mean, the guy, and really, the best thing I can say about him is just the respect that he has from his peers. I don't think he's ever averaged double figures, but he's an all-conference player every season because people recognize his value to our team and what he brings to each game that he plays. He's already set the OVC record for assists, and he's bearing down on the OVC record for steals. And those are, you've got to be pretty selfless, to be good in those categories. And he's the best of the best.
Coach, I kind of feel like you're playing down the excitement for tonight and stuff like that. With this, you calling it a rivalry, and it's being expected to be a rivalry too. Will you lose your jacket tonight, pull a shirt off, flip a chair? I mean, we've seen Juwan Howard kind of grab a face this past week. Where are you, Coach, tonight? Do we need restraint?
I can be pretty stupid sometimes, but I hope I'm not that stupid. We'll be ready to go. I mean, it's amazing. We all lose our minds sometimes. Competition does that to us, and I've got a lot of regrets for how I've treated referees. And I go into every game saying, man, I'm going to be good to the refs today, and then I walk out every game thinking, well, maybe next time.
I love it. Coach Casey Alexander has been our guest here on JMart and Ramon. 8 o'clock tonight on ESPNU, the Belmont Bruins at Murray State. Coach, best of luck tonight. Great to catch up with you. Always great to have another Brentwood Academy grad here on the show. Appreciate the time.
Good luck, Coach.
No doubt it. Let's stick together. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Coach Casey Alexander with us this morning on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. When we come back, 4th quarter of the show. 4's up, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Dave McGinnis coming up at 9:20. The energy keeps on rolling. Coming up next, 104.5 The Zone.
It is 9:02. Good morning. I'm Lucas Panzica. A report from last night from Andy Strickland out of St. Louis stated the Nashville Predators are actively shopping star forward Philip Forsberg, who is on track to have a career season with 44 points and is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. It's a big night for the Preds ahead of a big weekend hosting the Dallas Stars in Bridgestone Arena tonight on Pekka Rinne Day as they'll hang the number 35 in the rafters for the legendary goaltender who retired at the end of last season. Rinne will be the first player to have his number retired in franchise history. Puck drop tonight is at 7:30. Of course, the Preds will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Nissan Stadium for the NHL Stadium Series on Saturday night. The Tennessee Titans signed an outside linebacker on Wednesday in Justin Lawler, who had 19 games of NFL experience with the LA Rams after being drafted in 2018 in the 7th round out of SMU. College baseball, the Vandy boys blanked Evansville at home Wednesday with a 9-0 win, improving to 2-2. Tennessee remained unbeaten with a 16-1 win over UNC Asheville. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour, fourth quarter of the show on a Thursday in the Music City. Welcome in. We are JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here in Nashville, where, we are not JMart and Ramon. He's Ramon. Yeah. I'm Will Boling. That's Keith Bulluck. Lucas Panzica making the show happen for us. An extra hour today before the Buck Rising show. You can join us at 615-737-1045. Coach Dave McGinnis coming up here in a moment on another show that if you've blinked in the past couple hours, then I'm sorry you've missed us because it's been quick.
True.
Let's go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline because we've got a gentleman who's ready to talk with us by the name of Ron Slay. What's going on, Slay?
Hey, man, let me just tell y'all this right here, man. Man, when I tell y'all, see, I'm going to put an old Nashville slang on y'all, man. For all the people that ain't really from here that just got here, man, we like to say we shaking it. You know what I'm saying?
We shaking?
And you having a good time. Hey, man, y'all on there shaking it, man.
That thing shake, Slay.
Hey, Bully, I'm talking about they got the Bully and the Savage on the same track, man. Hey,
Paul gave me a call, so I had to come through.
Slay, the only mistake you've made is you've called us instead of calling our bosses to just tell them this. So if you can just go ahead and forward that to them.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, man. They done put William Lee Boling on management detail, and you're doing a good job, man. Now I just called in. I thought I was finna get Adam. What's my man name?
Andrew.
Yeah, damn. My bad.
He cool. He left already.
Yeah, y'all can't tell. Don't even worry about it. They got paid behind the glass. Oh, hey, man. Y'all clowning, man. I done got my car 3 times, man. 3 times. I'm about to drive up there just to sit in with y'all to catch the vibe, man. And laugh and joke, man.
Hey, we got Coach Mac coming up next, man. You already know.
It's really finna get foolish, man.
I think, Slay, all I'm going to have to do is just basically tell everyone when the commercial's going to start or end and just let these guys talk football with Coach Mac here in a minute.
Hey, man, this cold-blooded, man. Y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. I'm telling y'all, I wish y'all just keep me from getting in and out of my car, though, man. I done rolled past Just Love twice.
Oh,
just on the strip, you know what I mean? Just on the strip. And he went in.
Can you bring me a toffee coffee, Slay, on your way in?
Slay out there joyriding in the rain.
Yeah. No, Will. That's internship duty right there, brother. That ain't me right there.
That's what I do for you, not vice versa.
Andrew already gone. Yeah,
man.
You missed that boat. Y'all keep shaking it, man. Keep holding it down, man.
Thank you, Slay. Great to hear from our guy right there.
That's our guy, man.
Watson on YouTube. You can watch the show 104.5 The Zone TV. Says, jumped in just in time to hear Ron Slay.
Yes, that's pretty much how it goes.
That's right.
That's pretty much how it goes.
615-737-1045 our number. We talked a little bit about the Troy Aikman stuff in the 6 a.m. hour.
Yeah.
We kind of reset some of the headlines here before we get to Coach Mac and talk about the combine. But Tony Romo money is the floor for Troy Aikman.
It's cold
I
blooded.
feel him, man. I'm not taking less than him. This guy?
Yeah.
I got 3. Yeah, he's all right, but he's not real. That's right. Troy Aikman's that deal.
You said it though earlier. You were like, he opened the door for Tony to get this type of like signing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tony got it, and what would Nicki Minaj say? You guys are my sons.
Yeah.
Like that's the way Troy is looking at her. Like
I think that's the first
Troy
time somebody's
Aikman's like
compared
Thanos
Nicki
right
Minaj
now,
and Troy
like-
Aikman.
yeah, Nicki Minaj and Troy.
Troy coming through snapping his fingers like, yo, what? Poof.
Poof.
20 mil.
What Romo get a year? I know it's 180.
10 years, 180.
He got 10 a year?
Yeah.
Or
Or 18.
18?
Yeah.
I'll take 20.
yeah.
I'll just take 20. I'm good.
When you went, I thought you was about to dismiss
No,
20. I was
no,
like,
I'm saying,
whoa.
I'll take 20.
Oh, okay. All right. That's enough to pay for that private jet.
It's kind of interesting because ESPN typically, like their business model for a while has been, let's pay more for rights than for talent.
right.
Because people aren't going to tune out of a broadcast just because they don't like who's broadcasting if you have the biggest game. So like that's kind of been their formula. But I mean, no disrespect to Steve Levy and Brian Greasy and Louis Riddick. I think Louis Riddick
love
specifically
Louis
does
Riddick.
a really, really good
Yes.
job. And I think either way, depending on what they do for Monday Night Football, there's a place for Louis Riddick to have a role on that broadcast.
Facts.
But Troy Aikman, a little bit different.
Hey,
And-
Will.
What's up?
I would just say, yesterday's price is not today's price. That's right. Like you
Hey,
were
you're not
saying,
wrong.
Troy Aikman is just a little bit different. That's why when you said that's why I went there, because Troy Aikman is
It's
just a
different.
little, yeah, for
it's
sure.
like, I mean, it's
he's polished, he's good.
It's like in 2019, the Titans had a chance to bring in Tom Brady, or you had the chance to bring back Ryan Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill, no disrespect, he's a good quarterback.
They gave Ryan Tannehill $100 million that year?
That was
18.
3 years and what, 25 a year on average?
Yeah.
3
don't
years
care.
about 90.
You could have made that right for anyway.
I'm telling you, like some
Keep letting your
guys,
truth come out.
some
Sensitive
guys,
subject.
it's not a disrespect to them. It's just some guys are different.
They are, and you got to respect. So we're about to talk about the combine, and we've been promising to get into this. But
Yeah.
I got to say this though, as far as like combine and talent, some guys just command that type of respect, right?
Right.
Keith, you know guys that commanded that type of respect. My first dose of reality with somebody being blatantly honest about how different a person is when Marquise Pouncey came in to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Florida guy, SEC guy, first round draft pick at
I
center.
like him.
You know, dog. And I'll never forget, and I couldn't take it personally, but it was two things that happened on one day when we were in OTAs when he got there finally. Two things happened. One, we go to the meeting room to watch. It had been like a succession of practices in a row or whatever, right? And our coach at the time, Coach Kugler, was like in the meeting room watching post-practice. He's like, hey, guys, two things happened behind this statement. And he was like, you guys are here. He's like, eye level. He's like, man, you guys are hustling, running around the field. We look good. We sound good. All of those things. Like, you're here above his eyebrows where a measuring stick was. And he said this next. But Marquise went over his head. Marquise is right here. We got to get to where he was.
Yeah.
And at that point, you talk about the mentality of a person. To me, I was like, I got to get there.
Right.
I got to get as close as I can to that.
Right.
Because, like you said, if some guys are just different, I'm dumb to be mad at the coach for saying that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I'm an idiot for being like, man, he ain't talking to me.
Right.
No, he is talking to me. And Marquise went off the real 3 straight Pro Bowls and all pros behind that. But the other part of that is, very savvy. Just won a Super Bowl. And Justin Hartwig.
Oh, yeah, that's my guy. He played here.
Hartwig went
Hartwig's
to
my
Pittsburgh,
guy.
got a deal recently.
Yeah.
It was 2 things that happened. A lot of guys canceled themselves out as far as what the new expectation was. And the other side of it was they were going to start a rookie center game 1.
Right.
Hartwig lost his job because of some guys are just different.
Yeah, for sure. Not that Hartwig was good.
Really good.
Good. Like, he started here, developed, went to Pittsburgh.
Got a
won.
ring.
Yeah, all that. That's my boy
Got a
to this
contract.
day. Like,
Yeah.
Hartwig is a good dude. Like, worked his way, but that's the difference between a undrafted or a later round draft
Yeah.
pick than a first round draft pick who's a dog.
Who's a dog.
Right.
Now, it is no disrespect to him. That's like you said, the second one when you were done with the Titans and that's just the business
That's
of
the
it.
business.
And I've always been one of those, and I recognize all of this stuff in hindsight too. And Coach had said that about Marquise in the room, and when Hartway got cut, and that was my real dose of like, oh, you better grind every single year, because your numbers at the combine or your accolades in college, it don't mean much if you don't show the production of what the team expectation is, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's interesting. And we're going to get into this with Coach Mack here in a minute of where the Titans could look positionally. But I want to go into the athlete perspective and the coach perspective on the NFL Combine. How much can your stock really rise or fall this next week? And what does this week kind of look like as you get ready for the Combine?
Yeah.
So for me, like, yeah, okay. I didn't know if we were going to a break.
You're good.
You know,
We got like 1 minute.
We got 1 minute.
But like, yeah, for me, I think the to me, it didn't matter. You know, I was a top 5 pick. You know, we had LeVar Arrington, you had Brian Urlacher, you had John Abraham, Julian Peterson. Wow. You know what I mean? Those are the linebackers. And, you know, my whole thing was just to run a fast 40. But this wasn't like now where you see the players before, you know what I'm saying, since high school. Right. So it was linebacker day, and I see LeVar and Urlacher. I'm like, I didn't even know it was them. I'm like, man, that dude's back. He ain't even fitting through that door. Like, and here I am. Yeah. Here I am. Then Urlacher's 255. Yeah. Here I am at 238. Yeah. I was like, yo, it really got real here.
Right.
We can talk about that. We'll bring Mac into it, too. Yeah.
Coach Tate McGinnis coming up next. We got an all-pro linebacker. We got a guy that knows a thing or two about the linebacker position. And then we got a dude that is over here talking about offensive line film being entertaining.
It is.
Dear God.
Ask Joe Burrow.
Coach Mac coming up next, 104.5 The Zone. So return to the Mac. Coach Tate McGinnis coming up here on 104.5 The Zone. JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons, alongside Ramon Foster, Keith Bulluck. I'm Will Boling. And joining us on the Marks Payne Real Estate Hotline, the one and only Coach Mac. Coach, I'm just going to sit back, drink my coffee, and let you talk ball with two former NFL vets. What's up?
Will, good morning. Great to hear from you. No, Will, you can join in on the conversation. Ramon, KB, what's up, guys?
Morning, Coach.
Mac, you know what it is. How you living, Mac? What's going on in Coach Mac's world right now?
Well, I was down in Birmingham for the USFL draft. Of course, Fish is one of the head coaches down there, and so I went down there to experience the draft. I know all of the guys that are the head coaches in the league, and of course, Fox is involved. With this thing.
I need to get in on that, Coach Mac. I need to get in on that.
You fit right in with me. As soon as I showed up, I knew everybody in the lobby. I was the mayor of Birmingham. As soon as I showed up,
we don't doubt that.
Lobby. Yeah. So anyway, and I wanted to go down there, to see the draft and see what was going on. I was really impressed with what it was because they had all the Fox higher ups there as far as the people that negotiate the TV contracts with the NFL and then the marketing people because they're carrying most of the water for this and they wanted to be sure that it was done right and being able to sit and visit with them during the draft it is. I mean I've known of all of these alternative leagues, pretty up close and personal since, NFL Europe when I was the head coach in this league. And the main thing that has gotten most of them out of it, of course, NFL Europe, finally went out of it because, the league was supporting it. Each team was putting in a little over $1 million a year, and they finally said, that's enough. But that's why it was so successful. The other ones have failed, because of one reason or the other, but finances mostly, and some of it because the leagues were getting out over their skis as far as to who they wanted to be. This group really understands what's going on. They're going to have all 8 teams sequestered. They're going to have all 8 teams housed right there in Birmingham, play all the games at that new protective stadium there on the campus of University of Alabama, Birmingham, which is an outstanding facility. That's where they had the draft. And so anyway, I went down there to clearly, support Fish. And then just I wanted to see up close and personal what was going on with it. And I'm impressed. I'll be back and forth to Birmingham. So, KB, hop in the ride, and we'll go down there.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Say less.
Coach Mac, I heard you a little bit yesterday on 3HL, giving the background of what this league can be. And I'm hoping it can turn into a better, minor league compared to what the MLB has got going on because you got a lot of kids, man, that got drafted from schools I never had heard of or had been out of the game doing other things for a year or two or something like that. Will the NFL finally have a league in which it can help curate guys and bring guys up and find new talent?
Well, here's the thing, Ramon, that I think is very important. First of all, when you look at this, you've got to understand what it is and what it is for.
Okay.
First of all, as you guys know this, especially with the medium that you're both in now. After your former playing days, and by the way, 2 great former playing days. Look, when you have the career that you 2 guys have had, I mean, you can look back on things with a pretty different perspective, and plus it gives you a great insight onto something else as to what's going on. As far as this type of thing is concerned, look, there's a lot of guys out there that have not really grabbed the ring and had their chance to do something. You know what I'm saying? And so this gives guys another chance. Now, are you going to be able to get, a double-digit group of guys every year that are going to come in and make a difference in this league? Probably not. But are you going to fill that entertainment void of football, during this dead period? They're going to play from April till June, all right? And they're going to play, 2 and 3 games in that same stadium right there a weekend. People will tune into that. And plus, the quarterbacks, it gives them a real chance. And then if you've got some guys especially that for some reason or the other, have either been in a camp, have not made it, have been successful. I don't think, guys, that everybody really understands how hard it is to even just get into a camp in the National Football League. And then once you start paring it down to being able to play in the National Football League and to make an active roster and then continue a career, it's hard. It's extremely hard. And there's other guys that can play that are out there that sometimes just don't quite mesh wherever they have been for one reason or the other. That's what this is going to be. The first USFL failed because they tried to be the National Football League.
Right.
If you'll remember, they tried, and they did it completely different. Well, you're never going to be. The National Football League is the epitome, but it doesn't mean there's not room for more.
Coach, with so many, like you say, Coach Fish is a head coach, and there's probably more high caliber coaches up there with so many years of NFL experience. How is it for, you guys coaches that are used to seeing the best athletes in the world to go to evaluating talent in a league it's a developmental league that's just starting? How do you do that? How do you gauge who's the top players and if you haven't really seen them?
Yeah, great question, KB, and it's an excellent question. What they did, the way they populated this league was, first of all, they hired a director of personnel that was a long time. I visited a long time, with him there. That was the director of personnel for two NFL squads, and then also, for the combine for a lot of years for national scouting. And so he put together 8 personnel people, and they're the ones that gathered all of the names, and then he assigned each one of those 8 guys to a separate, coach. And then they all look, guys, they drafted this. Everybody was in the same room, and that's why they had the snake draft. And it's right to your question, KB. A snake draft, what you do is you draft by position. All right. Fish had the first pick of the draft, which means you go through 8, and then when it starts back again, then he gets the last pick in the draft.
Gotcha.
And it rolls like that up and down. They had 34 rounds of the draft. All right, because they had to fill all the teams, but everybody had all of the information together. In other words, I wasn't sitting over here at the Michigan Panthers table and I'm looking, and all of a sudden Bart Andrus is sitting over here at the Philadelphia Stars table, and you're trying to hide personnel from one another. That's not what happened. It was everybody shared the same information, and then that's why they drafted by position, so that you could fill that up. And some of these guys have been in the league. Like the first 2 quarterbacks taken in the league, Shea Patterson, that played at Michigan and Ole Miss, and Jordan Ta'amu, that ended up playing at Ole Miss. And, they both were drafted into the league, had a chance in the league, had not made it anywhere, were on practice squads, had both made practice squads in the league. Those guys just wanted a chance to play for 4 months and get all the reps. All right. So that's how they filled it. So it was really pretty simple with that. Where the strategy came in, you're only going to have 38 guys per team. And so, and you had to be pretty judicious as far as when you're filling it, as far as to what you're going to do. Let's talk ball a little minute. KB,
let's do it.
You and Ramon both, because here's what's going on. If you're going to play a fast-paced offense, what you're going to do, most of these teams are, because you're going to spin it, and you're not going to have time to teach a whole lot of intricate blocking schemes. Well, defensively, you're not going to be able to draft, 2 big loads in the middle and play a 4-man front if teams are going to run up and down the field for 60 minutes, and you've only got 38 players, correct? Because 38 of those guys aren't defensive players that you can substitute. So most guys will be playing a 3-3-5, where they'll be able to play some overhang and then, have some guys that are quick and can move up front. Those types of things are things that you have to do strategically when you're putting this thing together. And then look, like say, the kickers and punters, the really smart ones, Jeff Fisher, I talked with him a lot before that. He said, Mac, I want to find me a combo guy, so that a combo kicker punter, so that I can have that position for another position on the field.
He didn't draft one. I heard Blaine talking about it. He's like, "Oh, Jeff didn't draft a kicker." Strategy.
And that's why he didn't.
I like the strategy.
So anyway, all of this stuff, it's going to be very interesting to watch. I'll be going down there quite a bit, but the way they put it together as to where everybody was sharing everything, that's why the draft was so interesting, and that's why I really wanted to go down there and just see. I mean, I've been involved in 36 NFL drafts. I know how that works. I wanted to be involved in this one just to see what went on.
Coach Jay McGinnis with us here on JMart and Ramon. Coach, shifting gears to the NFL Combine and the NFL draft process. John Robinson and Mike Vrabel are on the record wanting guys who love ball. And with the virtual process of the NFL draft, how much more thankful are these scouts, are these coaches to be able to shake a guy's hand, look him in the eye, and have a face-to-face conversation next week in Indianapolis?
Well, that's a huge part of it. Look, the combine is a piece of it, but just what you bring up, Will, is a piece of evaluating a player. I mean, I can't count the number of players I've evaluated, over my time in the National Football League, but that piece that you just said, those two guys that you are sitting there with right now, regardless of their physical talent, which they both had or they wouldn't have lasted as long, they both had that one ingredient. They loved ball. They loved ball.
Right.
And if you don't have that, this league is too competitive. You're not going to last very long. Some guys don't last a minute, and have the physical talent. So that is a huge, huge component of it. Now, you're still dealing with human beings. You're still going to make mistakes, but that's what you look for. And the longer that you are in it, they always say in any industry, you can't manufacture experience, but the longer you're in it and you're able to talk with guys and you're able to get eye to eye with them, and then you're able to bring them in. Great example, guys, is when I was at the Rams and we brought Aaron Donald in. I mean, he was falling off all down draft boards because it was the, quote, too short thing, right? All right. He was, but you talk to that dude, you go, I want that guy between the lines for me, okay, when we tee it up to play. Because it's a component that is so important, because this game is, in the National Football League, it's about so much more than physical talent. And a lot of that comes from what's inside of you. And as I said, and I know I'm not embarrassing these two guys that are standing there with you, they both got that, and that's why they lasted as long as they did.
Coach, two receivers I wanted to ask you about from the SEC who are both fill slot positions but have different skill sets. Jamison Williams from Alabama and Traylon Burks from Arkansas. Two guys who I've seen projected to the Titans, obviously very early to be doing these things, but projected to the Titans at number 26. You've got the big physical receiver in Traylon Burks and the speedier slot in Jamison Williams. What is the better complement to what the Titans have right now? Because obviously defenses only have so many big physical corners. So you could go get a Traylon Burks and get another big physical slot that is a similar skill set to A.J. Brown. Or do you feel like the Titans might look at getting a smaller, speedier receiver to round out a different area where they may not have as much depth on this offense?
A lot of that, and both of those guys are excellent players, by the way. I've started digging in. Full disclosure, I've been on this for about 6 or 7 weeks because there are other entities that pay for my opinion on these players.
Of course.
And so what I've done, when you look at these guys, and you've got to understand receivers in the league. When you start bringing receivers in the league, it's different now. You talk about big physical receivers. Well, even the smaller guys can get away pretty quick now, and the bigger guy, because you can't touch them. All right, you cannot touch the guys. What you're talking about when you're talking about most of these things is run after catch, as far as it differentiates some of those skill sets, and also combat catches. Combat catches at the point, because you're never really going to be open unless there's a big mistake in the National Football League defensively. So you're going to be within a coverage area, and you have to be able to make the combat catches. And so what you look for, whatever type of receiver it is, regardless of his physical dimensions, does he contain those two elements? Because your run after catch element and your ability to combat catch is big, because those are the situations you're going to be involved in the most. And so what I think that I know that you do is you weigh that once you're looking at the people that are available to you, and then see what type of players do you have on your roster that complement those skills. Or if you've got nobody as a receiver that can outrun anybody that you play, well, you better get a speed guy, right? But also, if you've got nobody, all right, on your roster that can't make a combat catch, you better find that dude sometime in the draft.
Coach Mac, we see time and time again where guys will elevate their draft stock, through testing, through times, through, the 40 and the bench press and stuff like that. And it doesn't necessarily correlate over to their production on the field sometimes, and what's the separator in evaluating what raw numbers are? Do some departments look at that a little bit different? Because you've been there and you've had these conversations like, yeah, this guy's just a show pony,
Look like Tarzan, hit like Jane.
Yeah, Coach Mac, you know where I'm getting at. Keith just said
Ramon, stop. Ramon, do I hint just a bit of saltiness in that?
Coach Mac, you know where I'm headed at, man. Hey.
And listen,
I knocked a lot of them off, Coach Mac, is all I'm going to end with that.
Well, and that's what all I said was it matters. There's a lot more than just this.
Yeah.
This is a piece of it. And let me say this, Ramon. If somebody that is involved professionally in this business makes that kind of decision just because of that, of what, if you drastically change a draft grade, or if you drastically change a draft thought or a reason, when you just watch somebody run fast for one time on an artificial turf, then guess what? You shouldn't probably be doing it. All right, and that's just as smooth as I can say that. This is a part of it. All right, this here's a part of it. It's a piece of it, but it goes back to what we were saying to begin with when the question was asked. That was a very relevant question. How much do you love this game? Is what you're doing, because there's more than just loving the game. You've got to love preparing for the game. That's the hard part, and it's not just preparing for the game during the time that you are in the facility. It's what consumes you all of those times. Look, I've been around some great players. You're sitting there with one of them, and I had been in meeting rooms with him, with Keith Bulluck. Keith Bulluck thought about how his game was more than when he was just sitting right next to me in the meeting room, which he did for a lot of years. I know he was thinking about the game and his game more than that. I know he was thinking about the game when he was out there in L.A. training all summer, and we would talk, and I knew who he was working with and what he was doing and those types of things. You were the same way, and then the grind of the season eats you up. So if you're making a decision just because the guy happens to put his hand down and run 40 yards fast on an artificial turf one day in his life, you probably got a problem.
I love it. I love it. Coach Dave McGinnis has been with us here on JMart Ramon. Coach, we could do an hour of this easy. So appreciate the time. Broadcast guru, Coach Dave McGinnis. He's everywhere.
Jack of all trades.
Guys, it's my pleasure. What a pleasure to talk with you guys this morning. I still want to say I just got off the phone, or not off the phone, just heard from Randy Wilmore from Farm Bureau Health Plans before I got on here.
Yes.
About something else. What great people they are down there. And hey, Ramon, you and KB, I just heard from Craig Nance. We both had dinner with
Craig
here. Hey, if you walk in and ask Rhett Bryan right now, say, hey, Coach Mike said he just heard from Craig Nance. The first word out of Rhett Bryan's mouth will be Great American.
Rhett Bryan's looking at us at Titans Radio studio right now, listening, saying absolutely.
That's Craig.
I love it. Baby. I love it. Coach Mac, brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Coach, thank you as always.
Be safe, Coach.
See you guys.
All right, there he is, the one and only.
Always hit us with a gem, man.
The most interesting man in football.
Man, I sat in his meet. He's not lying. I was right next to him for 5 years.
Yeah.
5, 6 maybe. Yeah, Coach Mack is a real one.
I love his conversation, but like at the end, he leaves you with something every time.
Every time.
Hey, your grandma give you a piece of candy or something. Like, Coach Mack got something for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to give you something to think about before you go out to practice.
Yeah.
You're going to make sure the weak link in the room don't get violated that day. You're going to tell him the nice way you're going to figure out the way to say it where, Man, and if he does get violated, he can let him know in the film room.
Privately.
I love it.
Not in front of everybody.
I love it. As much as that man is on this station, too, that you get some kind of golden nugget in every conversation that he has every week.
Hey. His word of the day, Great American.
I love it. I love it. We got a Great American coming up here in a minute. Inky Johnson. If you're dragging a little bit Thursday, middle of the week, we got you covered. Our guy, Inky Johnson, coming up next, 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, Rocket, what's my mortgage rate? Rocket, when am I closing? Is anyone there? Rockets are really cool, but they don't speak mortgage. You need a home loan expert for that. Get pre-approved for your next mortgage at thehomeloanexpert.com.
One final segment for you this morning. JMart and Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Special thanks to Dane Bradshaw, Casey Alexander, Coach Dave McGinnis for stopping by this morning. Keith Bulluck, Ramon Foster, Will Boling with you for one final segment. A little bit of a weird way to start Pekka Rinne Day in Nashville. A report last night coming down about the Nashville Predators and a star that could be on the move. We haven't talked about this yet today. We've been there's been a ton of topics we had for today we haven't even gotten to, but Andy Strickland of Bally Sports Midwest, rinkside reporter for the St. Louis Blues, reporting last night, hearing the Predators are actively shopping superstar Philip Forsberg.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. I mean, this team
Actively shopping.
This team is kind of stuck in NHL purgatory right now. They're always out of the first round of the playoffs. They're stuck between the bottom of playoff teams. They made the playoffs, I believe, 7 straight seasons, which is the second most in the NHL right now behind the Pittsburgh Penguins. But at some point, you gotta cut your losses and go for it.
Yeah. Or
you've got to, build around who you've got. It sounds like that they're stalling with a deal to re-sign Philip Forsberg, and they might just say, all right, we might as well get something for you now. And because that dude is having a really good season.
Yeah, I've seen people, the management of teams, man, especially pro teams, is very finicky at times. When you're having a situation like that, you're trying to balance what's right now and also what's the future.
Right.
Like you said, that's basically what this Forsberg, shopping is all about, is if we can't have you, then what can we get for you right now? And a lot of times it doesn't even matter if it's, as far as NFL goes, like a 5th-round pick sometimes. Like there's
right.
different scenarios to which that one draft pick can pay dividends, whether you trade it away again for more capital in the draft or however it goes. I like the mindset. That's a hard pill to swallow, I'm sure, for Nashville and however that goes, but the business is what it is at times.
Yeah, I think I'm just thinking about what if you are Forsberg and you're having this great year and you hear that, while you're a player, I don't know how much I understood the business. Everything is personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to take everything personal. So I'm just, him being the player in this situation, I wonder if, for him it's personal or look, because wherever he goes, he's going to go to somewhere where they're going to be contending this year.
Right.
That's how it typically happens.
That's true.
I just wonder what how he would be feeling, because it could be like, obviously I love for the city, but then it could also be like, shoot, I'm gonna go win something.
I know, but like you said, being shopped in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
keep
my name out your mouth.
That's right. Hey, the most goals that he has scored in one season was 33 goals back in 2015 to 16. That was in 82 games. Played every game that year.
Man,
this year, it's pretty good. It's okay. This year, he's played 38 games. He's got 26 goals.
Oh, he's balling.
So he is living his best life this season.
Do you ball in hockey, or you pucking?
You're pucking.
Ice. You're pucking.
He's icing. Yo, he's icing.
Which is a penalty.
He's shaking.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Shaking.
He's shaking. He's shaking the rink.
Yeah.
He's shaking the rink downtown on Broadway.
What do you actually call it? He's blading? He's balling? He's pucking?
I don't know, bro.
He's icing.
We're trying, though. We're trying.
Wait, we're getting there. Hey, well, we'll talk a little bit more Pred stuff tomorrow because Stadium Series in Nissan Stadium is Saturday.
Is it actually going to get cold? It's been cold.
It's going to be colder. It might be raining, too.
I'm going to see how I can sneak in that joint.
That's right.
The last time there was a big event here, you said you were sneaking in.
That's right. I remember that, too.
Because I can't get tickets, man. Everybody gets these tickets, got these hookups. I swear, I can't get a ticket or a hookup.
It's the bots that get you.
Yo, bro, it's crazy.
Fun show today.
As legendary as you are.
Hey, you would think. You would think.
Always
speak that into the universe. We need to speak these things in the universe.
I gotta ask for everything.
Hit Keith Bulluck's line.
I feel like if you don't ask, you won't receive.
Closed mouth won't get fed.
And if I don't know who the plug is, I might as well ask everybody in the city.
It's the place to do it. Fun show today. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to get you to your weekend. Lots of Tennessee and Auburn tomorrow.
Yeah.
A little bit of Stadium Series. A little bit more of the combine discussions we haven't been able to get to yet. It's a sign of a fun show. We've got a lot of stuff on our list we haven't hit yet.
Yeah, man. It's the most fun I've been having at 6 in the morning in a long time.
Amen to that. Real quickly on the way out, I want to give a quick shout out My brother Wes Boling named the new radio voice of Nashville SC yesterday. So congratulations to Wes.
Big Wes.
That's my guy.
Big B.
We've been broadcasting games together since we muted the TV when I was about 3 years old and he was 15. No lie. No lie.
For real?
So excited for that guy. He deserves it.
He molded you.
He did.
That's right.
Okay, cool. That's what's up.
Everybody got to have a big bro they chasing. I chase mine.
Absolutely.
Means you're going to be better than him.
Always looking at the little brother.
Yeah.
What's your little brother doing? No, that's what happens.
Hey, back at it again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We leave you with one of the best. Inky Johnson with a little bit of midweek motivation for your Thursday. We'll talk to you 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
One of my favorite movies, fellas, is the movie Creed, the first Creed, right, with Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan. In the movie, they call Michael B. Jordan Donnie, right? And Sylvester Stallone had retired at this point. Rocky had his restaurant that he was working in, right, doing his thing. And so Michael B. Jordan shows up one day, and he finds Rocky at the restaurant, and he goes in and basically says, hey, Rock, I need you to train me, right? I want to box. I'm doing my thing. And Rocky like, yeah, I hear you, but I don't think you know what comes with it. Like, I hear you talking, but I don't think you know what comes with it. Leave. Donnie leaves, comes back the next day. Hey, Rock, you trained my father, right? He's like, who's your father? Apollo Creed. He's like, yeah, I trained your father. He was like, train me, man. I've been knocking out cats in underground gyms in Mexico. I've been getting busy, right? I need you to train me, work with me. Rocky was like, yeah, cool, but I don't think you know what comes with it. Leave. Donnie comes back the next day. Hey, Rock, man, I really need you to train me. Like, I really want to do this. I've been knocking out cats, underground gyms in Mexico. I've been getting busy. I need you to work with me. You work with my father, right? I want to avenge my father's legacy. Work with me, man. Give it to me. Like, you're the greatest, right? You work with him, right? Rocky was like, all right, cool. You're not backing down. I'll work with you. And so he takes him to the gym. And when they walk into the gym, Donnie sees the ring. Sees cats in the ring working out. And so as they're walking in the gym, they're going to walk past the ring. And Donnie was like, hey, man, I want to go in the ring. Like, I want to work my moves on some of these cats. Rocky was like, nah, keep walking. Come with me. And they walked to a mirror. And when they walked to the mirror, Michael B. Jordan looking at him like, man, what is this? Like, cats in the ring working out. I want to get busy. Take me to the ring. Rocky was like, work your move. Throw your hook. Throw your uppercut, throw your jab. Like, show me what you're working with. Show me. He said, look in the mirror and throw it. And so as he was looking in the mirror, he was throwing his hook, throwing his jab, throwing his uppercut. He was like, throw it. And he was working his move. And he stopped and he paused and he said, now tell me what you see. Donnie said, I see me. He said, get familiar with him. He said, because I guarantee you that will be both your toughest opponent inside the ring and outside the ring. Get familiar with them. Because as great as you want to be, the level and the aspirations and the goals and the dreams, the first person that we have to master on the road to greatness, on the road to excellence, is first and foremost, we got to conquer ourselves, our mentality, our spirit, and our disposition.